welcome to Soulspeak. Quick introduction. Soulspeak Lite, I should say. So, what Soulspeak is, basically a panel stream where I and usually 5 other people get together to talk about stuff. We have Soulspeak, and that usually will entail, like, philosophical discussion. Thank you for that follow. It'll entail philosophical discussion relating to politics, religion, anything, whatever, more profound stuff. Then we have Soulspeak Lite, which pertains more so to media, streaming, gaming, movies, stuff like that. And that's what this is. We are gonna get into content creator culture tonight, and I'm joined by a pretty phenomenal cast. Everybody on here I consider a friend, a muse, an inspiration of some sort, very accomplished and insightful individuals, and I'm friggin' pumped. So over the course of this, I encourage everyone in chat to ask questions, give us your opinions. We will try to address it throughout, but we will have designated sections after each of our discussion sections to do so with more intent. So, without further ado, we are going to do introductions, and that's going to start on my top left with Gothix. Tell us your name, give us a brief background in content creation and anything relative to that, and let us know why you started streaming.
Okay, great. Picked on me first. Alrighty. My name is Vanessa. You can call me Gothix. I've been streaming for about 3.5 years. Initially started streaming because I was in a call center job that I hated and I wanted to escape, and I was told that if I joined this site called Twitch I would make lots and lots of money and become super famous, and that didn't happen. But anyway, I ended up liking streaming, and so that's where I am right now. Yeah.
Awesome. And can you tell us briefly what your favorite and least favorite thing about streaming is?
Favorite thing about streaming are the people. Least favorite thing about streaming are the people.
I knew you were gonna say that.
That's fair.
Yes, I can elaborate later, but yes, those are my choices.
I like it. I respect it. Thank you for that. BigBlueD, you are next.
Yo, what's up? I'm Mike, aka BigBlueD. I started streaming basically because I play games anyway a lot. And I saw this whole Twitch thing and was like, well, if I'm playing, I might as well, stream it. I do YouTube as well, only like once a month though, and it's not gaming. Pretty much my favorite thing about streaming is making new friends and learning new things. My least favorite is it's a lot easier to troll and bully on it. So like there's, like Gothix said, the people. it's a give and take with Twitch. So
that's fair. I likes it. Thank you for that. SirKatelyn, you are next. Oh.
There we go. My name is SirKatelyn. I started streaming just over a year ago. So I celebrated my 1 year in late December. And I got into streaming because I wanted to. I just turned on my Mac at one point and I streamed The Sims for the first time. And then my favorite and least favorite thing, actually Gothix took mine. I was going to say the people and the people, which I'm actually going to stand by. I'm going to go ahead and stand by that. The people.
We seem to have a theme going on here. Thank you for that. Magnus, you are next, my friend.
Hello, my name is MagnusMKI. I am a Gothic themed content creator. I've been around on Twitch since 2011, back in the Justin TV days, although I didn't start streaming until 2017 because I had DSL for internet. I've also been involved in music forever. As for what my favorite and least favorite things about Twitch in general are, my favorite bit is being able to go ahead and tap into my old comedic attitudes from the comfort of my own chair, while my least favorite part definitely has to be the people.
All right, that's fair. Magnus, thank you for that. Sierra, you are up next.
Hi, I am Sierra, aka still Sierra. I've been streaming for about 2 years now, just over 2 years, as of this month, 2 years. I started streaming because I have always I don't know, I've just always been drawn to creative stuff. I've never been able to like feel super comfortable doing anything that was not creative or like where I was not in charge of my own self. I'm very independent. I did YouTube for a while with a group of friends. We disbanded. One of my friends did Twitch, begged me to do it for forever. I was resistant for a year. I joined and I love it. I'm so happy that I did the thing. So shout out Tartarus Rage for telling me to do the thing, because now I'm doing the thing. Much like the lovely folks above me, my favorite and least favorite thing are both the people. I love my community. The friends that I have made throughout my streaming time, I consider to be family, but there's also so many trolls and like dickheads who have a place to anonymously be dickheads, and I hate that.
That's fair. I think we're boiling it back down to the people here, but
yeah.
Those are good reasons, though. Thank you for that, Sierra, and that leaves me. My name is Slurpaglurp, and I started streaming about 1.63 years ago, and it's awesome. I did the math on that, don't question me. I've always been into, like, music, entertainment, so everything surrounding that, trying to keep it brief here. I got into streaming, actually, because of BigBlueD, one of my BFFs for life, my brother. He actually made me aware that not only is streaming fun, I mean, I've been a gamer all my life, I love entertaining people, but there was actually a viable means of making a living off of it, or at least some sort of income so I could get paid to do what I love, potentially, which is an awesome prospect for me, because everything I'm into is sort of like real hit or miss in terms of making good income, whether it's music, acting, streaming, whatever. So the more things I could get my hands into, the better. And I love talking to people, and I love entertaining. So here we are, and my fingers are crossed for the best. My favorite and least favorite thing about streaming, my favorite thing is getting people together so everybody sort of has a means for their voice to be heard. I think discussion is super important, and we're severely lacking in that department in 2020, having open discussions without jumping down each other's throats. And I think if handled well enough, it's very possible and awesome. My least favorite thing about streaming, I should have thought about this before the show. There's definitely something. I don't think it's the trolls. I think maybe if I ran a streaming service, it would be a lot less restrictive. Y'all could stream naked if you want. I don't give a fuck. I think there are some things in the TOS that are kind of quirky, but we won't get into that too much right this second. We're gonna move on to the next topic. So thank you, everybody. Let me click it here, and that would be, wow, I don't know what I'm clicking. Etiquette. We're gonna get right into etiquette. Shut up, Magnus. Woo. Okay, so I lied. It's actually best practices that's supposed to be next. I don't know why I have it numbered this way.
102.
I screwed up. I'll fix that in a second when someone else is talking. So, guys, shut up. Remember, everyone in chat, feel free to share your opinions, your thoughts, your questions even, and we'll try to get to them throughout. We are going to start this topic off with, what does it take to stream? And when I ask that question, I'm talking about, yes, mindset and willingness, but also I want to touch on the cam and mic situation, because people are always asking, do I need a camera? Do I need a microphone to stream? There we go. Okay, I fixed it. Does anyone want to tackle that, either from the stance of the shit you need or the mindset you need? Caitlin, you have your hand raised. Let's go with you first.
I don't really think that you absolutely need a camera or microphone to stream. It just makes it a lot harder. I was in someone's stream recently, and they were a pretty new streamer, but I was really involved in their chat. They had no camera and no mic, but because they were attentive to their chat and very personable with their words, I felt like I was welcome more so than I have been in people's streams that actually have cameras and microphones.
And that's definitely valid. I personally, like for me, and I mean, this is my preference, and I know that I'm not 100% alone in this, but I also don't speak for everybody. If I am going to a stream and I don't see a camera or hear a voice, I am pretty quickly turned. Like, I guess, and it's like you said, it's just kind of like you have to work a lot harder at it. Because I feel like if I see your face and the way you're reacting to us and to the game and whatever, and hear your voice, I'm gonna give you longer that I'm gonna stay in your chat or stay in your stream and like wait to see kind of like how I feel about it. But if I come and it's straight gameplay, you've got like 10 seconds to impress me and keep me around before I get bored and move on to something else. And I'm like, well, there's 75 people playing this exact same game. I'm gonna go watch somebody else because I'm bored now. I think the microphone's a lot more important than the camera on that though, because like if you can be a big personality vocally, then like that can be enough. Generally speaking, having both things does make it a little bit easier for you though, because it gives somebody like a person they can see and hear to like connect to and relate to. And like that's why I think people watch Twitch instead of YouTube, is to make a connection with the streamer.
Thank you.
Like for me, I'm on the fence a little bit. Like I like the camera. Like the camera doesn't matter to me, but you have to have a voice, in my opinion. Because like, what's the point of just watching a game? Like, you know what I mean? Like you could go on Google and type in gameplay to watch the game.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a voice, at least I know there's a person there that I can interact with and get to know. But no cam, no voice. That's a no for me.
We're gonna get, thank you, Blue. We're gonna get to Magnus right after I say this. I want to say what the inspiration for this subtopic was. BigBlueD actually had mentioned how he noticed a lot of people, and I'm sure all of you have, who aren't streamers, seem to think that all you do is turn on a video game and people come and either throw money or support at you. So let's kind of look at it from that lens also. I should have started off the bat with that, but I kind of forgot.
Sure.
Magnus, take it away, sir. Whatever you want to say.
Well, what I was going to say is that I think both a camera and a microphone make you a lot more relatable to your audience, because they can see how you're reacting to things, they can hear the tone of your voice, and that gets lost in text. However, I do know plenty of streamers who don't have either, who have done pretty well. Personally, I got affiliated in a week and a half, and I didn't have a camera. Like, I had a mic, and it was entirely based off of that type of interaction. So it can be done, but I agree wholeheartedly. You have to work a lot harder to go ahead and have your audience relate to what you're doing. So for me, it was a lot of comedy moments mixed into horror games. I had to go very hard with the ham, but it's one of those things where you just have to put that extra effort in. It can be done. It's not saying it's impossible.
Mm-hmm.
It's just one of those things where you're going to have to put in that extra effort, and you have to realize that you have to put in that extra effort. As for all the people that say they can go ahead and turn on a game and just stream, yeah, I'd love to see them try. In fact, I have sometimes, and it's
Yeah, I have those friends in real life who say that it's all about just like turning on a game and then having someone come in, but it's not always about that. You have to actually work for your audience. You have to relate to your audience. You have to know the game that you're playing. Sometimes people don't just want to see the gameplay. Sometimes they just want to talk or they want to lurk, whatever.
Yeah, that's why I end up in just chatting for the first like 2 hours or more sometimes of my stream. I mean for it to be like a 30-minute thing, but it sometimes is like 2 hours. And I've had people who have been in my chat that have intentionally forced me into chat for longer and been like, no, I'm gonna keep asking questions. I don't want you to start the game. I'm not ready for you to start the game. I want to talk to you.
Oh shit. It happens.
Okay.
Gothix would. Oh.
Yeah, no. I think first of all, like, the question should be for that streamer is like, why don't you want to use a mic or use a camera? Because that's usually like the start of some underlying issue. Like, are you socially anxious? Do you not feel comfortable in your own skin? Like, are you afraid? Because these are all things that ultimately you're going to have to work towards if you're trying to do this long term. Because being a content creator, you're going to be in front of like thousands of people. Who knows how far you'll take that, you know, that journey. And so you're gonna have to get comfortable with those things. And like this whole thing of just like not having a camera, you want to kind of just be like a, you know, like a make-believe avatar. That's cool, but like eventually someone's gonna know what you look like. So it's like good to like tackle those before then, instead of worrying about like all of like the fancy stuff you could have on your channel. I think people should probably you know, tackle like the personality aspect. Like, are you cut out for this? And like, forget the drive. Like, are you comfortable being uncomfortable? Which I think is important.
That's a good way to put that. I've heard there was someone who was in my chat just recently asking actually about if they needed a camera, and we had a whole conversation about it. So I think you were there for it. A lot of people say maybe you were, I don't know, but there was people's arguments against cameras are a lot of the times, oh, I'm not attractive. Oh, I'm older, and you know, or I feel like I'm overweight or whatever. Don't feel like they're physically attractive, and they're like, well, people aren't going to want to look at me. And I think something that people need to understand is I don't want you to have a camera so that I can gawk at you. Like, I'm not like, I just want to look at this cutie. Like, that's not why I want you to have a camera. I want to see you react. Like, I'm going to tell a joke. I want to see you reacting. Like, I want to see you reacting to the game. Oh, this is my favorite part of the game, and I want to see your shock and awe when you get to that part that I love so much and that invokes so much emotion in me. It's wanting to like build that connection and see those reactions. It's not about being cute. Like, that's not the reason for having a camera. And that's, I think, a big misconception, because people are like, oh, well, girls have an advantage because they're cute. And it's like, nobody gives a shit about who's cute. The reason for the camera is not who's cute. The reason for the camera is so I can just see what you're doing and like see you interacting.
I hear that, and we are gonna. Oh,
I
Blue.
know. That's why I
look like McLovin and Gollum had a love child, so if I can do it, anyone can do it. You know.
I love you, jump Blue. Back to what Gothix said before, it's actually one of the big points that for a little while I was trying to help out other content creators that felt awkward with things, and then anyway, being comfortable with being uncomfortable is super important, because you never know what's going to show up in your chat. It could be horrendous, it could be heartwarming, it could be tragic or depressing. And one of the things I used to say to a lot of people, and they never really seemed to get my point with it, was, hey, if you're thinking about doing streaming, you might want to take like an improv class or two. And they'd be like, why? I don't want to be a comedian like you. And it's like, that's not the point. The point is getting better at expressing what you're thinking on the inside and being better at reacting to different prompts thrown at you. So that was just one of those thoughts that I brought up a lot of times, and I always got mixed feedback on. Good advice. But the thought process was, you have to be comfortable being uncomfortable. And that is a very big point. I think we've all had times where something has happened in chat. It's just like, but I can't sit there staring at chat like this the whole time. I have to keep doing what I'm doing and just play it off nonchalant.
Which he does very well. I can vouch for it. That's a really good point, though. I cannot count. And I mean, those of you who've been in my chat know things can get real weird, real quick. And there's definitely times what Magnus said has resonated with me. Like, I don't even know how to touch on those certain comments. It's important to sort of set ground rules, which was really hard for me to do in the beginning. I was even more laid back than I am now, and I kind of just figured, oh, well, you know, people have common sense. They'll know not to cross these lines. They'll be respectful to each other. Holy shit, did that blow up in my face. Like, I hate being strict. I hate telling people what to do, but like, I think it's important as streamers to make a conscious effort to try to make the baseline human sort of comfortable. Maybe not go out of our way to do so, but just like make common decency a rule. You have to kind of write it out. You have to spell it out in some cases, and it sucks, especially since I like writing novels, so it doesn't always pan out well, but I try. And I think we would all do well to do so. And in the interim, I would hope viewers, especially those of you who are viewers and streamers, would really consider that sort of dynamic of like, okay, I want to be myself, but like I'm not trying to step on any toes either. So that would be nice. I try to do that anyway. All right, that's all I got to say on that. Anybody else?
So personally, I'm like, if it's my stream, I'm gonna be myself, and I don't care if I step on your toes. It's my house. It's my house.
Yeah, that's what
cool.
I've been saying, especially lately. Like, I stream in my bedroom, so I've been saying, like, you're in my fucking bedroom, man. Like, welcome to my room. I sleep here. I live here.
Let me clarify. I meant the inverse. Like, if you're going into someone else's house, or if in your house you don't want your guests stepping on each other's toes when that violates your own code of conduct. If it's your stream, it's your shit. Do as you want. Is that okay?
So you're saying that, like, in someone else's stream, you're conscious of how you behave amongst other people?
I definitely am, because I know I can get out of hand. I could say shit that makes people real uncomfortable real quick.
Okay.
I feel like I definitely do that.
Yeah, no, I'm conscious, but at the same time, I kind of rely on other people to tell me when enough is enough. So, like, there was this one time recently I went into someone's chat and I started talking in caps because I talk in caps. I'm super excited to be there. So the person was like, can you not use caps? You're making me anxious. I was like, oh shit, okay, I'm sorry. So I just pulled back. I was like, oh, I'm sorry.
That's fair.
I feel like for me, it's a combination of a couple different things. Like, if I go into someone's chat and whatever their house rules are or whatever are something that I'm not necessarily comfortable with, and I feel like I'm not being even a version of myself in order to, like, deal with what their house rules are, I might leave, and that's not necessarily personal. So then against that person, it's just that, like, this isn't an environment that I feel comfortable in. I love you. I don't necessarily feel great right here. So maybe I'm just going to drop the lurk and dip out. Like, I'm going to show my support for you, but I don't necessarily want to be here because this doesn't work for me. But I also definitely do feel like there's a part of me that does assimilate to wherever I am. And it's a combination of, yeah, making sure that I don't step on anyone's toes. And also, like, I mean, what the hell did I say in Slurp's chat the other day? I am me in one version of me. And then I go into Slurp's chat and I'm like, I don't like that. I'm gonna fucking slap you in the eyeball. Like, I mean, I suddenly turn into, like, one of Slurp's people, right? I get, like, the attitude that Slurp has.
Wait till you start talking about alligator dicks, alright? Then we're gonna go into Slurp mode.
Like, so, I mean, I feel like there is a part of me that does, and, like, then, so I'll be like, I'm gonna slap your kneecaps in Slurp's chat, and then I go over to Dylan's, another person who I've been talking to you about, and I know Gothix knows. And I'm like, hello, friend. How are you feeling today? I'm feeling a little low, but I'm okay. I'm getting through it. How are you? Share with me. Like, I love this community. Like, I feel like who I am, I personally have a wide range of, like, who I am. And I think everybody has that, right? Like, nobody's one-dimensional. And so I definitely will assimilate a little bit to the chats that I'm in. But there's a point when it crosses my line, and I'm like, I'm not comfortable here, and I just can't.
Yes,
can't
it's
around.
And mind you, I don't think this is a case of being, like, disingenuous so much as it is turning your own volume down or up. Like, when I'm on stream and I'm saying the crazy shit I'm saying, I don't go to work the next day and talk to my customers like that. That doesn't happen. So I try to.
I was talking about you specifically the other day when I was talking about people, like, up and down with their volume.
It has to happen to an extent.
Yeah.
Like, one of the great things about streaming is I do feel like I could be myself cranked up to 11. I'm not presenting any false information to anyone, but I'm not going to go to your funeral talking about alligator dicks.
Right.
All right. With that said, Gothix, I would like to hear from you before we go to the next subtopic if you have anything to add. You're also muted.
You can't ask me to follow up after you just say alligator dick.
Look, I'm in Florida. I'm living my best life.
That's why I had myself muted, because I'm like, he's gonna say some dumb shit, and I'm not gonna be able to react.
He always does.
So, for the most part, I tend to lurk on channels, and like that's the thing is like I can control myself in my own channel. I have my own set of rules or whatever, but like in other people's home, I kind of just like to observe, because like I never know if I'm just too extra for other people, and I can't be bothered to turn myself down. So I'd rather just lurk altogether.
That's fair.
That makes a lot of sense too.
I tend to feel people out when I first go in their channel, and I see, like, are they kind of zany? Are they kind of professional? If they're kind of straight-laced, I can be straight-laced. I can become a chameleon. But if they're more like me, I know it's hard to believe, I'm actually a little weird. And
No.
I know it's a shocker. I can be myself, and when I see someone of my ilk, I let fly in their chat, and like I love that. But I won't be as interactive with someone who's like straight-laced, you know?
Yeah,
like,
so do you feel like you're not being yourself, though, when you do have to be a little bit more straight-laced? Because, like, my thing is I feel like I can be a couple different kinds of ways, but it's still me. It's just this part up, this part down. Like, how do you feel about that when you have to interact with someone who is more straight-laced?
I'm very, like, all over the place with, like, the real me. Like, I'm a very reserved kind of professional kind of person if I'm hanging out with you in real life. But if I'm out to have fun, if I'm at a bar or whatever, don't you look at me like that, sir. You're the one who put on the Roman Reigns wig in the middle of the store, not me. So yeah, like I let loose when I'm in like a party area, whatever. Like then I can cut loose a little more, and I can get weird. I don't have restrictions. Screaming for me is me with the chains off. Like when I scream, I take off the shackles and I just go to what I want to do in real life. Whereas in real life, I tend to be more reserved. Unless I'm talking to Slurp, then it's just all downhill, 3-hour conversations on the phone, and it's just, you don't even want to know what's talked about.
I kind of do. We should recap them on stream. No. All right. Blue, thank you very much for that. We are going to move on because we got a half hour left for this subtopic. Let's hit follow for follow really quick, guys. Would anyone just...
follow for follow.
Yep, right here too.
Follow for
Yep.
follow.
Shit's bad. Like, your follow number's not a thing that matters.
This is true. Anyone want to add to that? Is it even worth discussing?
Yeah, actually, okay, I would like to say one thing, because with the follow botting thing that's been going on with me lately, this is a thing that I would like to touch on. Your follow number doesn't count, but like, as far as like, if you have a bunch of followers, that doesn't mean jack shit. But if I go to your stream and you have a bunch of followers and you have 5 viewers, I know that you did follow for follow, and I don't like to be there. And here lately, I've been getting hit with follow bots. I had 2 nights in a row that I got hit with follow bots. Fortunately, it was like the first night it was only 6, and then I ended stream altogether. The second night, I restarted 3 or 4 times before it finally stopped. But I think I got hit for maybe 100, 200, something like that, right in that ballpark. And I felt shitty because I was like, well, now if this doesn't stop, I'm going to have an inflated follow number that does not reflect my viewer number, and now I look bad. And so, like, follow for follow is shit. Your follow number doesn't mean shit, but, like, I feel weird about, like, that.
I'm going to play devil's advocate with that for a minute and say, what if you had that mindset going into someone's stream and they had just gotten follow botted themselves?
Yeah,
so,
I
like,
don't have that mindset anymore.
So it's like you walk into someone's stream, they have 5 viewers, but they have 3,000 followers because they just got follow botted last week.
And you're so right.
Like,
it's something that I had never thought of before. It's something that had never really occurred to me until I got follow botted these couple of times, and now I'm like, oh shit, I shouldn't make those assumptions about people.
I believe,
but like, it does go back to ultimately your follow number doesn't count, so don't engage in something that falsely inflates your follow number. Like, if you have a bunch of followers, maybe you did get botted, but just don't engage.
I think I saw this in TSAN, I believe it was, on a Facebook post that addressed how to handle when you get follow botted, and I think one of the tips was to add to your title, I just got follow botted, which oddly enough pertains to this, and after hearing both of you speak on it, I feel like that's pretty decent advice. I'd give it a whirl, because I'm kind of with Sierra. I'll jump to that conclusion where if you have like 8 million followers and 2 viewers, something fishy's going on. But you're absolutely right, SirKatelyn. It could have been against their will.
Yeah, Slurp was in there when I got follow botted, and I was like, I don't know what to do.
No,
like,
bueno.
I think that either way, judging anybody off of their follower numbers is probably bad practice. I do like to kind of accomplish little like mini goals for myself by saying, oh my god, I'm at a new stage of followers. That's cool. But like, I know that they don't actually mean anything in relation to my content. They don't mean that I'm a better streamer.
Yeah.
They don't mean that I'm like a worse streamer.
It feel nice, but it doesn't mean anything.
Right. But like, I don't know. I think we kind of got to climb out of that mindset of it actually means that you're a good or a bad person either way.
There is a huge, and in my experience, justified stigma behind it. I see the rudest people asking for follow. They'll blow up your DMs, they'll go under your going live posts,
They
they'll
don't
come...
even say please.
They don't even say
I got a
please.
DM recently where someone said, hey, I followed you, follow me back, and I said, sorry, I don't do follow. I'll check you out sometime when you're live, but I don't follow people whose content I don't personally enjoy. I'm not going to follow you and then never watch you. I'm not about that. But I'd love to check you out sometime when you're live if I have some free time. And if I like what I see, I'll follow you. If I don't, if you're open to criticism, we can have that conversation. And they're like, oh, you're not, so you're just not going to follow me back? And I'm like, well, no, that's not how it works. And well, I'm going to unfollow you then. And I'm like, that's fine.
Congratulations.
Dude, like, get out. I don't care.
Now,
Bye.
Odexa said that this is Gothix's favorite topic because she.
hate this topic.
Do you hate the concept of follow, or you just don't want to talk about it anymore?
No, like the whole concept, like I feel like just a broken record when I say how much follow is shit, and you would think like somebody who has done follow, who has had so many opportunities in like a short amount of time frame, people would actually listen to me when I say don't do follow. But
Oh, did you try it when you started?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of new people. The only reason I didn't is because I had someone who was already in it don't like warn me.
So, like the only reason I didn't, and this is like a little thing, is because I was watching Gothix's videos on YouTube when I first started streaming. That was the only reason I didn't do follow.
Good. I've saved one.
She did. For y'all who don't know Gothix, she saved many a folk from bad practice, so she deserves some thanks here.
She's our queen.
Magnus, did you have anything to add to this?
I mean, I remember when I first actually started streaming. Like I mentioned, like even if you click on my account name, I've been around since 2011 when Twitch was Justin TV. I only started streaming in 2017 because I had shit internet. I remember I went ahead and started streaming, and like I only had those few people, and everyone was like, "Oh, you should do follow," and I'm like, "But why?" And it's just one of those things where, like, having worked with music and everything, I knew just from there that it was a lot of like, you interact with people and those people interact with you, and that's how you build camaraderie, bonds, community. If you just go ahead and say, hey, I'm gonna like your MySpace page, you like mine back, and that's more people, nah, it doesn't work that way, bro. No, not at all. It didn't work back then. It wasn't gonna work in a new medium. I didn't give a shit.
That, Magnus, that is huge. Everyone, I think, would do well to just remind themselves these numbers mean absolutely nothing without people behind them. I mean, even if you were using them to try to appeal to, like, sponsors and stuff, maybe the initial number will attract them, but as soon as they see, like, nothing else matches up, it's done. There's really no point to it. Did anyone have any final thoughts on this before we move on? Blue?
When people come into my stream and do follow, I don't necessarily shut them down right away. What I do is I lecture them, but like in a nice way. Like I say to them, okay, look, I'm not gonna do it, and this is why, and what you should be doing. I'm like, you're not gonna grow organically that way. You're not gonna make meaningful, like, have a meaningful community. You're gonna have to, like, if you want to grow your channel the right way, you've got to make friends. And if someone's just liking your channel, following your channel to follow, they may never stop in and actually watch.
Yep.
So what's the point of that follow? I'd rather have 20 followers that all like want to see and interact with me than having 1 million followers and like most of them don't watch, you know. And I try and like put this into them so that they don't do the follow thing anymore and they can actually go down the right path. Most of the time I just get the middle finger and, you know, fuck off.
That tends to be the mindset, but I'm glad you do go out of your way to say something. I often will try to do the same thing as well. Alright, so thank you for that. Moving on, let's real quick graze over raging. How do you feel when you go into a stream and motherfuckers is raging at their video game?
Immediate turn off.
What's your definition of rage?
That's up to each of you. I would say, like, for me personally, I'll use myself as a baseline. Like, I don't personally rage, but there's times I'll get frustrated, I'll be like, shit. Like, that's pretty much the extent of it. I don't mind if someone maybe yelps like once or twice, but if
Yeah.
someone's going on like a rampage throwing shit and be like, fuck this, I don't down
No,
for like,
I'm not gonna be there for it.
it's
like,
insanity.
I'm grown. I'm out. Like,
Yes.
If there's like yelling, then I'll turn off your. Not only will I turn off your channel, I'll unfollow. But if it's like just frustrated shit, like, oh my god, this fucking game, like I hate it, you know, I'm fine with that. You know what I mean? Like, because we all get frustrated, we're all human. I get like that sometimes, especially when I'm playing Bloodborne.
I seen
But,
that.
Yeah, you see, you've clipped it, dick.
I don't think I did. I'm just. All right, continue. We'll sort it out later.
But yeah, like I'll get frustrated, but I'll make sure I rein myself in so as not to yell, scream, throw anything. Cause that right there, like, that's one of the biggest turnoffs in streaming to me. Cause nobody wants their eardrums blown out by your voice, you know.
There was a tweet today posted by a big streamer, or I guess not today, but here recently in the past couple days, posted by a big streamer, and it was about raging. And it says the phrase, "It's just a game," is such a weak mindset. You are okay with what happened, losing, imperfection of the craft. When you stop getting angry after you're losing, you've lost twice. There's always something to learn and always room for improvement. Never settle. And as like, this is someone who plays professionally and all that stuff, and like, so I understand that you're gonna be disappointed in yourself. You're gonna be upset. Like, if you are like trying to perfect yourself in this one thing, in this one game, you're super competitive, you're gonna be upset. You're gonna be disappointed. Like, I get it. But there's a way to be upset and disappointed in a way that is still composed, and in a way that is still like, oh god damn it, like I could have done better there. I'm pissed that happened. I'm gonna do better next time. Move on. Move the fuck on. Laugh it off even. You can feel in your heart a lot of anger about it and be like, God, expletive, I should've. But like, outwardly, okay, next time. You know what I mean? Like, outwardly, what you need to show is an amount of composure. Like, we're adults, guys. Come on.
Allegedly.
Most of
You're
the
grown.
time.
This person who tweeted it, you're grown.
Yeah, I don't think that's like the rage that he's talking about. I think he's talking about like the keyboard smashing rage, like the screaming. That's not okay with me, but I am someone who gets frustrated beyond end with like puzzles, especially because I can't do it. I have to have time to think about it, and I'm like, okay, I gotta do the chat thing, and then I gotta do the video game thing. I can't do it, so I get frustrated, and sometimes I get grumpy. But I've never like been one to rage or watch people who rage.
Yeah.
It's a little bit cringy in my book.
Yes.
So, about rage streamers, for those who know, I'm not going to say names, obviously TOS, but I had a roommate, and he was a pretty acceptably known rage streamer. Like, would literally throw tantrums. Now, here's the deal. I work in medical. I go into work early in the morning. He would wake me up with his rage. So he would be, like, kicking the wall, slamming his desk. There are quite a few clips on his channel of me sticking my head through his green screen, wearing a hockey mask, going, "Hey, shut the fuck up," and then leaving and going back to bed. Because if you've woken me up enough that you've interrupted my sleep for work with your rage coming through a wall that you've insulated, you need to rein that shit in. Like,
I
there's
would
a level
agree.
of professionalism that can
Nightmare
be
feel
brought
right
in
there.
here. Oh yeah, no, absolutely. But there's a level of professionalism I see with it. Like, if we're gonna go ahead and say that this is a source of income, and you're gonna go ahead and treat this like a professional thing you're doing, well, people get fined in professional sports for being a raging asshole.
This is true.
So, I know there's an audience for it, but that audience can stick to that.
Yes.
I don't mind raging, actually. Because like, as far as like streaming goes, streaming is like such an oversaturated market, and like I can go to like 20 streams and see people doing the same shit. So like, I can, you know, when I go to somebody's channel that they're raging, it's like I'm getting something that's a little bit more entertaining. I'm getting someone with actual emotion. Other channels I go to is just like, oh, thanks for that 4,000 person raid. And then that's it. It's like there's no emotion. So like, I personally don't mind it. It's something different.
Gothix, if I ever get raided with 4,000 people, I'm gonna be like, fuck you! How dare you aim at 4,000 people, you son of a bitch! Like, no, because I get what you're saying. We do need emotion, we need good content, but there's a middle ground there where we could show emotion and not be screaming and throwing shit, I feel. But to each their own, I get it.
Well, let me just say this. I think there's a market for everything, and
yes,
like, we could use that same logic for like other things too. Like, I think you could be a streamer without having a low-cut shirt. You know, so it's kind of like
it's not true.
Saying, no,
you can't do it. It's impossible. I tried.
But like, I think it's a market for anything, and like, if that's your thing, that's your thing. I'm not there to judge. But personally, I've been more entertained in raging streams than just like if you're not saying anything.
Understood.
That I hear that.
That's fair. That's fair. Definitely over no interaction. But to be honest, I won't be in either of them.
Yeah, like, cause like I won't follow ragers, but you have a point in the fact that I Google rage incidents during streams a lot. Like, I go on YouTube and watch it because it's entertaining to watch it that way. But I still don't follow them, but there is a market for it, I'm sure.
It's kind of the same reason why we watch trashy TV shows, you know. It's because we want to like have the drama, we want to have the rage and the entertainment. It's all about entertainment, really. So I mean, I get that.
That's fair. All right. I mean, so at the end of the day, to each their own. Just wanted to get some perspective from y'all, and in chat, everyone brought up some good points. We are moving on, and this is a thick one. The viewer-streamer dynamic. So this entails a few things. So I saw a big theme, and this is what inspired the subtopic for me. Gratitude for service versus gratitude for support. You have people out there who are like, basically hardline, you should be grateful for every goddamn viewer you get, and like, blah blah blah. And then there's streamers out there, like that one girl on Twitter who, it may or may not be part of her shtick, I didn't look too much into it, who's like, you can't be here if you're not subbing, you're not allowed to talk, and shit like that. So there's definitely two ends of that spectrum. So I'd like to know, what do you guys think about that? Is there an ideal balance to be had in terms of who's doing the other a greater service, or is it sort of down the middle, give and take, like that sort of deal? What's going on? It's a loaded topic. Sierra, you had your hand raised. You might be muted right now. Oh.
I didn't have my hand raised. Cap just showed up, so I was holding a hand.
That. Fair enough.
I'm sorry, I'm freaking out a little.
Welcome, Kat.
Here. I don't even know where to begin with that, because I mean, so me personally, when people follow, I always make sure that I like say hello, hi, thank you so much for the follow, welcome in. But like, that's pretty much the extent where it gets, because as far as I think it's important to be grateful. I think if you are getting if you're someone who's a partner streamer, or you're someone who's like, your followers are just, you know what I mean? Like, you can't, every single person that comes in like, oh, I'm so happy you're here. Like, I think there's a point when it becomes like, thanks everybody for coming and hanging out, and that you don't necessarily need to have that like super personal, like over the top gratitude. But I think to then be entitled to it is like a completely the other end of the spectrum. Now, Bad Bunny, to my understanding, that's part of her shtick, and that's just who she is, and like that is what that is, and I'm like not gonna get into that or get involved with that. But behavior like that in the situation where it's like real is definitely like, I think that's ridiculous. Like, you can't be entitled, but you should be grateful, and I think that goes both ways. Because I've also had people come into my chat while I am really far behind on chat and say something, and it takes a minute to get to them, and then by the time that I get to them, I get to like 3 messages down, they're like, okay, just ignore me then. And I'm like, I'm getting there, chill the hell out. Like, I have a command now for my mods to use that says like, hi, welcome in, I'll be with you shortly, I'm really far behind. Like, because it's happened so often, and I just like, I need that command so that people don't come in for the first time and be like, wow, I'm getting blown off. But like also at the same time, I can definitely be over the top, and like I cry when people give me like when there's like hype trains or like gift sub trains or whatever. Like I cry, so like I'm a little over the top. I'm probably not the best frame of reference for what gratitude should look like.
Well, it's different
A
for
little extra.
everybody. Everyone's versions are valid as long as they are authentic, in my opinion.
For me,
I agree.
I'm like just super grateful for any and all support. Like when I get a new follow, it's like they may as well be subbing to me. You know, like I just am super appreciative of it. But most likely, I think that comes from the fact that I just don't think I'm a very good streamer. So like it blows my mind that someone would actually want to like watch me. But yeah, so like any like follow, subs, hosts, I make sure I make everybody like know how appreciative that I am, because it comes from, you know, the heart.
Yeah.
But I would never ever like, I don't care if somehow I hit it big and was like the major streamer in the world, I would still not be like, you know, oh, if you're not subbed to me, like you can't watch, or you should give me more, like Biggs, what's wrong with you? Like that's so self-entitled, and I don't understand how anyone could think like that or operate on that end of the spectrum. It's like, be thankful for what you got. Like,
Yeah.
you know?
Before we continue, I would also like to throw in the notion of allowing viewers to sort of control the stream.
Oh hell no.
Just think, Gothix
Oh, no.
and SirKatelyn. All right, I'm about to get my ass beat,
no.
everybody. I'll see y'all
Well,
later.
no, it's just like so. It's like I said earlier. It's my house. It's my rules. Ain't nobody controlling the
Yes.
stream except for me.
Nope.
Like I don't care. I kind of touched on like the whole viewer control thing in my stream earlier today. No matter how much you sub to me, give to me, pay attention to me, you don't deserve, like, you get nothing in return. Like you get the whole entertainment thing. You support because you want to, not because I owe you something or that you're gonna get something out of it. You know?
Not even feet pics though.
Not even feet pics. Not even like I don't know, like left arm wrist pics.
You all can't see my elbow unless I decide it's okay.
Correct. My weenus is off limits.
Fuck.
Nah, I'm unfollowing.
This is my
Look, here, SirKatelyn, in principle, I definitely agree. And at the end of the day, I do agree that we should all have the final say in what goes on. I think it will vary stream to stream as to how seriously we take things like suggestions. Because it is, I feel streaming is sort of a community effort. A lot of the times, my chat, with the various commands I have set up, with just weird and creative shit they say, they help me make the content. And that's one of the things I love about this too. It's definitely, it becomes a group effort at certain points. Shut up, Magnus. So it's like, I don't know. I think there's a balance to be had there. But yeah, ultimately I do agree with you.
Yeah, and I agree with both of you. Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
I think that's different, Slurp. Like I was thinking more of like someone donates $1,000 to me right now, and then they're like, hey, do this on stream. I'm like, no, sorry. Like, you know, but like you're saying that the way that the conversation or the way that the viewers go as far as chat goes, that helps to shape your content, right? Because that to me is different. I usually kind of go wherever the conversation takes me, honestly.
That's what's up.
I definitely like agree with both of those things because, well, like, yes, I very much like wherever the conversation takes me is where the conversation goes. And I personally am pretty open to talking about almost anything. There is very few things that are off limits on my stream. I have like a very select few handful of things that I'm like, we don't talk about this. Pretty much anything else, if the conversation happens, we start it. But like, I do have a pretty hard and fast rule that you cannot come in and say, I want you to play this game. Oh, you're playing Legend of Zelda right now? Well, you need to go, I really want you to go do this quest. Like, no, fuck you. Like, So, like, cause yeah, obviously, like, I'm not gonna let anybody be like, I paid you $1,000, I want you to do a cartwheel. Like, I'm definitely not gonna do that. But I've encountered a lot of entitlement of people coming in and saying, like, I want you to play the game this way. I want you to go do this thing. I like backseat gaming almost to an extreme, and or I'm just like, no, dude, I told you no. I had a recent thing where someone came in and was like, if you're having a hard time with this, you need to just look up the video on how to do it. Oh, that doesn't sink. Thank you. But someone's like, you just need to look up. Sorry, Cat's here and bringing me drinks. But like, someone will be like, or someone was like, you need to look up the video on how to do it if you're struggling with it. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to. In fact, one of my moderators has already looked up the information and is telling me right now some tips. So I'm just going to go off of that because I understand what he's saying and I can do it myself. And he was like, well, watch the video. And I was like, geez, dude, no. No, absolutely not, no. Like, so I think that there's a little bit of give and take. Like, yes, it is a community effort, but like, the streamer is the one who's in charge and who gets to ultimately make the call and ultimately make that decision about whether or not, like, y'all can suggest things, but if I say no, it needs to be a no, and you need to leave it at that.
Someone asked me to cartwheel for $1,000. I'm gonna go through the friggin' wall.
But-
Yeah, no, I won't lie. I'll
However you want me to cartwheel. Just letting you all know that now.
Got
You
it.
wanna give me
All right,
cartwheel?
can I get a quick hand raise? Guys, settle down. This is very important. Can I get a hand raise from everyone on the panel who would cartwheel live on stream for $1,000? I'm just Gothix and Magnus are saying
I don't
fuck
know
that.
how.
Me either. Do it.
You try, Gothix. You gotta
I'll
try.
learn.
Yeah, so I don't
I'll
have
teach you
room
for
to
$250.
cartwheel. Right here is my vanity. Right here is my wall. I got no space, but God damn it, I'll do it.
That's what I'm saying.
I'll just potato flop around until it works.
I like that
Who's
even
in
more.
Chat right there. I'm not repairing the wall after that stupid stuff.
That-
There ain't roommates in here for me to do it. And that's my other roommate. No.
Fair enough. Magnus, Gothix, do either of you have anything to add to this?
I have a huge point on this. I was just waiting. So
I'm
in my
sorry.
channel- it's fine. It's fine. That's what the whole point of these panels are. In my channel, it's a command that a lot of people haven't heard. But if any of my mods type in _backseat, it literally spells out "I don't give a fuck." Literally, because we've had issues in the past where I've had people come in and be like, it was specifically Dead Space 2. It'd be so much easier if you use the flamethrower. That's great.
You're
I'm
so
using
much
the same
more
weapons
aggressive than
that I
me.
used in the first game for a reason. Yeah, but why don't you slip to the flamethrower? I don't fucking care.
I'm opening my
And-
bot now. I want to see what my backseat command says. 'Cause it's so much
And
kinder.
it's just one of those things where it's like, I will absolutely interact with them. I will gladly play off them because I know those of you who have been by my stuff, you know, my stream is basically built around my love of horror. I share that passion for it with everything I do, as much information as I can give you. But if you come in and be like, you need to play The Darkness 2 tomorrow, my response would be, you can watch that somewhere else, because fuck you.
Get on the YouTubes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right?
see, I'm so passive. Mine says like, hey friends, this is a blind playthrough, so no spoilers or backseat gaming, please. Tips explaining basic game mechanics or answering questions when they're specifically asked to or posed to chat are fine, as far as long as I'm not just thinking out loud. But please let me work through puzzles and stories myself, though. Like, I'm just like, I'm super like passive and like, hey, please don't do this. Thanks.
Well,
I love you. Don't forget
so
that I love
polite
you.
of you.
Like,
There-
I'm so
That's so nice of you.
There's nothing wrong with, I feel, phrasing things positively so long as you're still being clear and assertive in what your desires are. I think there is
That's
something to be said about keeping a good vibes going, as long as you're not putting yourself down in the process.
I think because I am specifically like a mental health positive, LGBT inclusive, like my whole thing is about like inclusivity and like being supportive. So I think because that is the nature of my stream, I'm really scared to be too much.
I hear
I'm
that.
like, I don't want to tell them.
We will
I don't give a
be.
fuck. I want to tell them that it's okay.
We're gonna be
But I
diving
want them
into
to be
that
careful.
in all of
I
its
know.
facets. Sierra,
I
thank
know.
you. Gothix, did you have anything you'd like to add?
I guess like when I first started streaming, that was something that I took a while to grasp, that viewers don't control my channel. I think I was just so desperate for like getting my first sub that I was just like, yeah, I'll let you dictate how I run things. So it took a while to actually get out of that habit. But like at this point, like now, occasionally I have people come in, they'll, say some dumb shit, or, and I usually just ignore it. But then sometimes you get those people that just like copy and paste the same thing, like, hey, can you do this? Hey, can you do this? And at that point, that's when I'm just like, no. So I'm much better at it now, but yeah, I don't let that shit happen anymore.
I hear that. That's growth right there. Guys, feel free to let us know in chat how you feel about that aspect. Sierra, you brought up something before we started. I forget what it was, but I wanted to bring it in on this subtopic. Oh, you're muted.
You're still muted too.
You're
still muted.
Can she hear me? I don't think she could hear us.
No, she's definitely not.
I keep muting myself because I keep like squeeing over Cat being here, and so I'm sorry. No, I can hear you. The thing that I said before we started was about the concept of us being responsible for our communities, and the idea of like what people who are in our communities who are maybe our moderators or who like subscribe to us and like drop our emotes around in other people's chats and who only find other people's tweets because we retweeted them, if we're responsible for that behavior. Because I know that is sort of a mixed bag of opinions, if we feel like that falls back on us at all, and like how what we expect of our community, and if that's like our job as streamers.
Valid question. So basically, streamer accountability for their community, whether on Twitch or off. Sierra, we're gonna start with somebody else and circle back to you. I know you got some thoughts here.
I'm sorry, I'm so fucking
don't
talky.
No, don't apologize. You're good.
I apologize to everyone else who has wanted to talk, and I've been talking.
It's my job to pretend that I care about everyone here's opinion, so it's not on you. Who would like to start with this, if anybody? Blue, let's hear from you, sir.
Responsible for them? No, but it does reflect on them. For instance, if I raid someone, right? I'm bringing my community to that channel, and how they behave is going to reflect on me. But I am 100% not responsible for how they behave, because they're grown-ups. Well, allegedly. They make their own decisions. They act how they're going to act. I would hope that they're going to behave themselves. I always tell them before, like, show them love, whatever. But if they're going to be assholes or something, like, that's not necessarily my fault. Like,
this is raids specifically.
Well, with raids, even like, Twitter, whatever, like, if they're part of my community and they say something maybe really bad or something on Twitter, right? I'm not responsible for that. Like, yeah, they're part of my community.
How do you react to that, though? Do you take any action or whatever if those things happen?
Well, if it happens, if I'm there, like, for instance, in the raid instance, if I see someone, like, acting like a fool, it's never happened, thank God, because I love my community. But if I did see it, I would shut it down. I would be like, hey, you know what? Not appropriate. I'm sorry for their behavior, Mr. So-and-so, Mrs. So-and-so, whoever we're raiding. You can kick them if you want. You can, whatever, if they continue, like...
Do you handle that publicly or privately?
Do I what?
Do you handle that publicly, like in the moment in the chat, or do you handle that privately in DMs?
I would, it's like I said, it never happened to me, but I would definitely say something in the chat. Like, because that would be ridiculous. You know what I mean? Like...
You feel like it makes you look bad. No, I get that.
Yeah, because it is a reflection on us, I think.
I agree there.
Anybody
I think so too. I've gone into streams, and like I usually try and raid someone that I know that my community is going to get along with really well. I always try and match, whatever game I'm playing, whatever conversation I'm having to whoever I'm raiding, just because I don't want to have that adverse effect of like, oh, someone's not enjoying it, so they're gonna have a bad look on me and my community because of it, So like, recently I raided someone who was playing the same game, but the person was an opposite streamer of who I am. And so they ended up giving me the whole bland, welcoming, like, oh, hey, thanks for the raid. It was like a raid of, I think it was like 84 people, but like, even then, it doesn't really matter. I was like, holy crap.
I cry. Fuck.
I'm like, are you? But like anything that you get is like it should be, hey, welcome in. My name is so and so. Here is what I'm doing. You know, it should be basic like that. But I don't know. And then I actually ended up like apologizing to my community for it. I was like, I'm sorry, I didn't know that they're gonna be like this. They're great, you know.
I hear that. What about guys consider elsewhere, maybe how they handle themselves in other people's channels, maybe if they're mods in yours or VIPs? Gothix, what would you like to say?
I actually ran into this problem myself because I was trying to figure out a way how to lessen the popularity of streamer Twitter culture. So I was like, how do I get my community to act more like civilized human beings and not be like every other crazy streamer person on Twitter? And the thing is that I can't control people. People are going to do what they want. So, but the thing that I can control is like how you represent my community if you join my Twitch team. So that is like non-negotiable. Like if I see you doing some dumb shit on Twitter or like trying to like start like a lynch mob or whatever like that, like I'm done with you. But like for like I have like over 1,000 people in my Discord that aren't on my team, and I can't monitor every single thing that people do. But the thing that I can do is set expectations. Like here are my community values. These are things that we believe in. These are things that we don't agree with. And I also try my best to educate streamers at the same time. Like when you're doing something, you know, on another platform, whether it's like Facebook or Twitter, you're representing this community, but you're also representing yourself as a content creator. So like, it's not just Vanessa doesn't want to see you like acting crazy on Twitter. It's these potential streamers, these potential companies probably don't want to work you because of how you're conducting yourself as well. So I can't, you know, and I agree with both of them when they were talking about like the raids too. I don't tolerate like craziness either. Like I've even re-raided before. Like I'll go to a channel, they're acting dumb, I'll go back to my channel and rehost somebody. Like I'm not staying here.
Yeah,
so
I've done that before too.
Yeah, I got no patience for that. Like I don't know. I try my best. I try to set standards of what like I personally believe in and hope other people follow suit. But yeah, that's my take.
I like it. Anybody else?
I think that people don't think about what Gothix said about the sponsors when they're posting that crap on Twitter. They don't think about who's looking at your Twitter profile. I mean, when they're asking you if you want to be partner, they ask you about your social medias. They ask about YouTube if you have Twitter, and so they check that shit. And if you're toxic as crap, they're not going to want to partner you.
This is true.
Right, that is true.
I wonder how far they look into that though. I mean, like, would they check your mods of your channel? I don't know in that regard.
Probably not, but I'm saying that they probably check your activity on Twitter. They probably check your tweets. They probably check your tweets and replies, whatever you've posted as far as media goes. They probably want to see how you interact on Twitter, if at all, or YouTube, depending on what platform you use. And then they kind of take it from there, like, hey, who do we want representing our platform?
That's fair. Thank you for that. Let's go Magnus, then Sierra.
Right. So, I've been really, really lucky. For the most part, with a few minor exceptions, my community has been very, very polite to the point where I've actually had one or two streamers that I've rated be like, hey, thank you so much for sending people over. They were so pleasant. It's like, is that a problem that you run into regularly? Like, just people are always assholes? I'm sorry that that's your normal every day. But I also happen to agree with pretty much everything that's been said so far. And I wouldn't be surprised if, like, say, for example, one of your mods was super, super toxic and you're liking all of that super, super toxic content on all of their other social media. If that's not going to bring a hammer down on you in some way, shape, or form, even if it's just a, nah, I'm sorry, we're not going to partner you type deal. I totally agree with Gothix as well, as someone who went through the side door to go ahead and start up his own stream team. I was super, super picky, especially that first set of applications I took in. There were a couple of people that were like kind of on the fence for me, and then I went through their social media and it was just like, oh, you're a raging asshole. No. So if I'm that picky, I can only imagine what companies with millions of dollars to throw around and potentially lose are going to be thinking, especially on their social media reputation.
Yes.
That makes a ton of sense.
Is that all, Magnus?
I mean, for now.
Fair enough. Sierra, take it away, please.
Am I allowed to talk now? Okay. It's a thing that I've seen before, and I've always kind of had the same stance where I'm like, well, my community stands for acceptance, my community stands for positivity, my community listened to me talk about etiquette, all this stuff. Like, yeah, do I feel in any way responsible for them? Not necessarily responsible, but I feel like it does fall on me a little if they behave a certain way. But I've always been like, I don't know, I have such a good group of people, like, who cares? And like, turn the other way. But I've had 2 things happen in the past week where I've been like, wait. I have one person in my community that is very new to streaming and very new to Twitch who doesn't maybe necessarily know all of like the unspoken rules and the etiquette stuff and the like code of conduct types of things. Recently in Slurp's channel, and I meant to say something to Slurp and I hadn't, so this will be my saying something to Slurp. Went into Slurp's channel and Slurp only knew this person to be one of my people. And then they at one point said during his stream, you should rate so-and-so. And I was like, stop. And
I
like,
said
saw Slurp. No, someone said it to you.
Oh,
on your
okay.
Stream. And I saw you read it and then you went, I DM'd him immediately and was like, you can't do that. Like, because like it was a mutual friend. It was another person who was in the community, had just gone live. And then this person was like, we're all friends here, and was like, LOL, you should raid so-and-so. Just kidding. And it was still the middle of Slurp's stream. He was not done. And I immediately was like, stop. Like, I was so mad. Do you know what I'm talking about?
That adds a new layer.
Yeah, I was like, you can't do that. I was mortified. And
it's fine.
I DM'd him immediately and was like, hey, listen, I know you maybe don't know, but like, that's kind of an etiquette thing. You don't do that. Please don't do that, because Slurp only knows you to be one of my people, and I don't want that to fall on me, and I don't want that to fall on the human who just went live and who you said to go raid, because then it also makes him look bad, makes me look bad, makes everybody look bad. Like, I know you didn't mean anything by it, but please don't do that again. And like, had to have that conversation. And then just today, I had someone come after somebody else in a way that I felt was too aggressive, and I immediately DM'd and was like, I'm sorry that that just happened, and this has never happened to me before in my 2 years of streaming.
So you apologized on their behalf to someone
in the Twitter situation, and like,
oh, okay, gotcha.
Like in the Twitter situation, I was like, I apologized to the person who had been come after a little bit and was like, hey, I'm sorry that someone from my community came at you in a way that I feel was so aggressive. That's not something that I stand for, and that's not something that I agree with, and I apologize that someone who kind of represents me, in my opinion, and who found you through me, said something that I don't agree with, and I apologize that has happened to you. Whereas in the situation where something happened on stream, I came straight to him and was like, you cannot say that to him or anywhere.
I can respect that second bit, but I would not do it.
Do what? The apologizing for that person?
Yeah. I think it's one thing to try to...
Yeah, and I get that. Sorry, go ahead.
I think it's one thing to maybe try to guide your friends and tighter community members. Like, for instance, you could... Like you did with the, you should raid so-and-so in the middle of my stream. But... especially for those of us who want to grow, who want to build these big-ass communities, it's going to very quickly get to a point where we cannot micromanage on that level.
And you're right.
And even outside of that practicality, I think in principle, we do need to sort of stick to the notion of I try to live by the philosophy of, as long as I keep my side of the street clean, it's okay. That said, I could find myself in the future taking the route of messaging someone like you did with the whole you should raid so-and-so thing.
From your stream, yeah.
there's definitely a balance to be had.
And you know, sorry, go ahead. I'm sorry.
It's just rough because I've had to talk to people, I've had to take people aside, I've had to sort of remove people from certain platforms in my community because we didn't see eye to eye on how shit should go down. And as much as I might like a person, if they're not treating others the way that I feel they should be treated, then they ultimately cannot be welcome. It's not so much that it's a reflection on me and I don't want to look bad, but it is very much about, like, I do have principles and they need to be stuck to some degree. That being said, if someone does want to go in someone else's stream and talk about something like alligator penis, you know, we'll take it back to that. Go for it. If they want to talk politics even, like, I'm all about that. But if they're going into people's streams and saying slurs and harassing people, trolling people, and these are friends of mine or mods or VIPs or people who frequent my shit, then I do feel it is up to me to say something to them and take further action, even if it's not going down in my community.
And I mean, that's valid. And like, so I realized today after I made that apology about, like, hey, on behalf of this person who had said this thing that I don't agree with, I apologize. The way that was responded to and met, and like, it's completely not your fault and all that, I was like, well, I guess I probably don't necessarily need to be that responsible for what they do. But I agree with you about the, like, removing them, because so one thing that I say a lot is I consider my community to be my family. And, like, you know, if my sister is doing something, like if my blood sister is doing something that I think is shitty, I'm going to tell her, hey, Mackenzie, I don't think you should have done that. Like, that wasn't cool. To us as, like, people that have a close relationship, I'm going to have a conversation with you. And so I think I will likely continue to, if I see my people doing things that I don't agree with, having that conversation and being like, hey, more or less, like, not literally in these words, but like, hey, this is our family name that you are throwing about and that you're making it look bad. Maybe you don't do that. Hey, here's why I feel this way. Here are the reasons why what you did is not okay. But I probably will not in the future apologize on behalf of people that are in my community unless they do something over the top and use me as some kind of umbrella or, like, thing to hide behind. If they're like, well, in Sierra's stream we do this, so I think like, if someone were to use me as some kind of shield, then I would be apologizing for them. But I think moving forward, I will probably not apologize for people who follow me doing things that I think are dumb, like, probably moving forward, because I was met with very much a, like, you don't have to apologize for that. It's totally okay. It's not your fault. And I was like, you're right. I don't know why I'm like this. I'm anxious.
Sierra, you're a nice lady, and I appreciate your insights here. I would like to move on. We're 3 minutes over the topic line.
I'm sorry.
It's all Sierra's fault. Someone ban her, please.
It's always all my fault.
Guys, we are moving on to etiquette. We're gonna start with lurking. So one of these things on Twitter, just like, people are constantly talking about people calling out lurkers. I don't see it too much, but what are all your thoughts? Everyone in chat, how do you feel about lurking? Like, do you want to be bothered if you're doing it? Guys, do you think it's ever okay to call out lurkers at any point?
Short thing to say, super extra short. Keep me up. I promise. Let me lurk. First of all, yeah, do not call out lurkers. My sponsor is really bad about saying, like, I don't understand why y'all aren't talking, why y'all aren't chatting, and it pisses me off. And I actually texted him today because I was like, don't. But that is because you said that you haven't seen anyone do it. I've seen one person do it, and it pissed me off.
Fair enough.
That's all I have to say.
Thank you, Sierra.
No, I don't think it's okay.
Gothix was just crying and howling to the moon. I'd like to get to her. What?
I, like, always get called out. And it's like, even, like, not even just Twitch, like on Mixer, like other platforms that I go and watch other streamers. I think like, oh my god, Gothix just joined the chat. Like, leave me alone. Like, that will make me leave. It's so uncomfortable. Yeah, so don't do that. Leave them alone. And yeah, I think it's very simple. I know you're excited, but stop that shit.
I like
Yeah,
it.
that's
I
pretty much the
agree.
theme. It's recently I was in someone's stream, and I thought, I was like, maybe they're new, maybe they don't know, you know, streamer etiquette, whatever. But they had like, they like just said that they were on Twitch for like the last year or whatever, and so one of their mods was like, hey lurkers, I see you, start talking. And I was like,
oh no,
okay, I'm leaving. And I actually told them, I was like, hey, I'm gonna leave now because I don't like being called out. I'm here just painting, enjoying you guys' gameplay and your guys' conversation. But I'm gonna leave now. I'm gonna go ahead and take myself elsewhere. That is the cringiest shit in the entire world, especially coming from a mod. And then I had people argue with me about like, oh well, it's not the streamer that said it. I'm like, yeah, but the streamer represents who the mod represents who the streamer is, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I have a manual for my mods that I'm like.
She does.
In my stream,
She
that
does.
shit, I would immediately remove them from being a mod. Like that is like, okay, you are now excused. You can go.
Mm-hmm.
That's fair. Magnus, Blue.
So, I lurk a lot for many people because I work in a hospital for 10 hours a day. And when the patients aren't available to be seen, I'm in my office. But when I leave my office, I don't just close out everybody's streams because there's a lot of people that I want to check in on when I pop back to my office to like maybe type up a patient. So, I lurk a lot, and I get that. Please don't call me out. Like, especially if, like, I notice it, and it's one of those things where, like, I suddenly shift over, and it's like, hey, just here at work. Stop that. But, I also agree with the mods as the extension and not calling out lurkers, too. Because I've never had a problem with that personally, but I've had a couple times where people have, like, tried to call out lurkers. As a streamer, I'll try to get a conversation going if chat dies out, but I'll never directly call someone out. If anything, if you want to, I think the furthest extent a streamer should go is I just want to thank all the lurkers for hanging with me. That is simple, comfortable, does not call anyone out directly. It's just a, hey, I acknowledge you're there, thanks for being here. That's as far as I would personally think about going, but that's me. Everyone has their own different levels for that. I have a lot of friends that lurk because I start my stream like 3:30 our local. So I'm back from work, I'm done at the hospital, I'm relaxing with my stream. I know the rest of you aren't off work. So it's like, thanks for taking the time to not only come support me, but doing it while you're on the clock, you sneaky bastards. But yeah, so I would never call out the lurkers, but I know people who do it. And it's like, please don't. That's kind of shitty. It's
cringy.
Yeah. That's another good term for it. Very cringy.
It is really cringy.
It's view thirsty, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
For
yes,
oh, go ahead.
Blue, go.
No, I was gonna say for me, I would never call out lurkers other than to maybe thank them. Good chunk of my viewers are actually usually lurkers, and to me, they're lurking for a reason, whether it's because they can't interact or because they're not comfortable interacting. So you're putting them on the spot by calling them out. To me, that's as bad as when someone calls out like, oh, you have X many viewers right now in stream. It's just not something you do. It's horrendous etiquette.
I agree. We could move on from that one pretty quickly unless... Oh, you know what? I will say something, and this might rub some people the wrong way. Okay, here's the thing. I appreciate lurks in the sense of support, and I appreciate it in the sense of maybe you want to hear or see what's going on my stream in the background while you do other shit. Both are awesome. They're nice gestures. I do get a bit of a negative feeling when I see somebody lurk in someone's stream, and then I see them in like 17 other channels saying lurk, 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 lurk. Like now I feel like you're just doing it for attention. I do, and granted, the idea of support is still there. Like you want to give that person your view, so that's cool, but it's kind of watered down.
Yeah, I get that. My big thing with lurkers is a lot of the times. So I, at least as a viewer, like I'm not going to talk to you immediately. I'm going to lurk for a while and see how I feel about the stream before I'm going to talk to you, before I'm going to say anything. The first thing I do when I approach a stream is not, hi, how are you? You know what I mean? Like, when I go into a stream, I lurk for a while. And I think if I were to be called out, I would immediately be like, oh, Jesus, I don't want to be here. But, like, as far as the multiple lurking thing goes, if it's a couple people, then I think it's valid. But if it, I mean, you said the number you said was 17.
Yeah.
It gets
the way
numerous.
the Twitch stuff works now is that, like, if you are lurking, like, you can only effectively lurk in a certain number of channels before all of a sudden none of your lurks count. So if you are lurking in 17 channels, then you are literally just saying, hey, I'm lurking here for attention, so that someone knows, like, hi, I see that you're live and I'm here, and, like, so that someone remembers you, and then it does come off shitty. Because you literally can't lurk in 17 channels before Twitch is like, this no longer counts.
It's a good point. My
That's
reference.
how I feel also.
My reference was
like,
going
your
off
support
before.
no longer is valid.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
No, that's entirely valid. I didn't even consider that Twitch changed it. They did. The people I was thinking of, the instances I should say, this happened before that shift. So now it's even more egregious. Egregious, that's too strong of a word. It's not a huge deal. I'm just throwing it out there. Blue, what'd you have to say?
I disagree entirely with both of you. Like, you already know what I did. I had my iPad, my phone, my laptop.
He's crazy.
My laptop had at least, I would say, 6 people going at one time, plus the iPad, plus the phone. Actually, I had 2 iPads at one point, and I was literally, because I would see X amount of people that I love on at one time, and I'd be like, I can't choose between them. I want to, like, support them all. So I literally, at all times, they were surrounding me. I would be either lurking, and then I'd jump to a channel, I'd say something, I'd be listening to, like, I had all the voices, like, on up high, so if they mentioned me, I could switch over and, like, go over and say hi or answer their question or whatever, because I wanted to be supportive to, like, all of them. It had nothing to do with, like, attention or anything. It just was some people like to lay the support on thick. And as far as, like, what they changed, yeah, I mean, I don't care, like, whatever, they can try and limit me, but I'm still gonna do it.
See, I don't ever think of it as, like, people are seeking attention. I just don't think of it, I guess. Like, I don't even, because I don't have that much time to lurk in everyone's channel. I usually pick a channel that I can, like, listen to in background, and then I'll just do whatever I want to do.
Same.
I don't have all that time.
Yeah.
I just go into someone's channel and I'm like, hey, I'm gonna lurk for a little bit. It means, like, or I just won't say a word. Like, I won't say a word at all. But
Yeah.
I don't even have, like, the thought that maybe they're lurking in a bunch of different channels, because if you are, fine, go you live your life however you want to. It doesn't really bother me, you know.
Yes.
I've never noticed it personally, because, like, I guess, like, Slip said, you know, oh, I noticed you're looking in 17 different channels. I've never looked, but, like, I guess what I was saying is piggybacking off of, like, oh, yeah, if I noticed that, I would be like, you can't even support that many people before Twitch takes it away from you. But I personally never noticed it, because I also am like Caitlin. I've never looked. I've never thought to care.
In my experience, it was a night or a couple nights where I would hop between a few streams and I would see this person just incrementally, like, not following where I was going, obviously, but I saw them in more than a few channels. This happened with, like, 2 different people, actually. So it just gave me a weird vibe.
Were you not doing the same thing then?
No, I was not. I was interacting with all of those people. I swear to God, I was. I wasn't.
No. I understand.
And I wasn't in all their channels at once. I was going one at a time because, as you all know, I cannot multitask for shit. So I ain't having multiple streams open.
You hop around.
And again, what, Blue?
No, I was gonna say, yeah, Slurp scolded me about my little support thing.
I did, and Look, I'm against it. I appreciate the notion, like, what you're trying to do, especially, I know Blue goes above and beyond to help people hit shit like affiliate, which is awesome. He'll try to get them views and be there for them to help them pass that threshold, which is admirable. but it does get to a point where I think it's too much for the person, and like me, if I'm trying to lurk a bunch of people, I can't adequately be there for everyone. And now, as Sierra brought up, Twitch does restrict how many of your views count, so it's utterly pointless. And for the streamer in question, I mean, a lurk is a lurk anyway, so either the on and off engagements there, or the one viewer count is there. So to each their own on that. Magnus, did you have something to add to that?
I am bound by Twitch terms of service to not discuss my thoughts on people lurking multiple streams at once, because I can't not say names. Because when I was first starting streaming, there were certain communities, I'll put it at that I was involved in, where they like highlighted that. They're like, you need to lurk everywhere. Why? And then people would come up with the best excuses not to do it for me. And they were so like, you've never looked at my content excuses, you've just briefly read what I'm about, that it used to make me vomit it, like laughter. It was enough to wake people up. My favorite always was, this one is related to a group that I'm still in that a lot of you are familiar with. Somebody sent a reply as to why they hadn't stopped by my stream over a 2-week period where you're supposed to be supporting other people in some manner. That it was because they don't like jump scare streamers. So you never stopped by, did you? Because if anyone's ever seen my stream, they attempt to clip when I look startled. Horror is my jam. I've been a fan of horror movies since I saw Alien at 4. Like, you need to work hard to get me startled, let alone upset, let alone yelling. It hasn't happened. So their description of why they went to my stream for, I think they said 15 minutes and bounced, was the biggest crock of shit I had read since like the ingredient list on Kraft macaroni and cheese.
Hey, don't go on my Kraft mac and cheese.
I'm not saying it's wrong.
We're not starting on food right now. You white chocolate lovers, I hate it.
But yeah,
the debate will rage on.
Support people you want to support. If it's more than the number that you can like feasibly support at the same time, I would absolutely advocate for slurps. Like, go pop in there, talk to them for a little bit, and be like, hey, love what you're doing tonight, blah, 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 blah. I'll be back later. And then go to the next one. Like, give them that active, or if you're going to lurk, like, just lurk a couple. That way you can pop in when you can. But having, like, 22 tabs open so you can virtue signal later and be like, I support all the people I love at the same time, I'm going to sit there and turn around and be like, you're a fake piece of shit. That's what you are. All you're doing is hoping that you can go ahead and give more to these people than Jack and shit. And Jack left town. So, like, you're done. I don't give a shit what you think at that point. I'm not saying Blue is doing that, because Blue's literal description is, I grabbed extra devices so that I can interact
Blue
with
is
them
a
in a rotation.
Human, so
I don't know. I've seen him sing karaoke. I found that to be quite subpar.
I know a lot of people that would disagree with you on that one, Sierra.
I love you.
Magnus, what was your
delightful.
point over here? Don't lie to yourself, Sierra.
My overall point was that lurking multiple streams can be done with a benevolent, genuine support manner, but at the same time, there's a lot of people that try to go ahead and do it to be like, all these people know my name because I'm always there. Are you? Have you been? Have you been there at all?
Yes.
At all?
I'm pretty much with you there, Magnus. Thank you for that. Gothix, tell us how it is. What's the real deal?
So first of all, Blue, that is amazing. That is like total dedication. And I personally, like, I appreciate that when, cause I get a lot of messages from people like, oh, sorry, I haven't seen the stream in a while. I've been busy, life happens, whatever. I can't afford a sub, whatever. Like, if you can support by just opening up a tab, that's awesome. I love you for that, but I'll never personally be like, can you lurk for me? And I am highly against streamers saying that, like, can you just lurk for me? Because now you're just begging. It's like you're not putting any value on your own content to be able to bring people to your channel with your talents. It's just kind of like begging. So like, for on that side, like I don't mind lurking. I also want streamers to get out of this habit of just like, because I think when you start begging and expecting for lurks. You're expecting like, oh well, I did this for you, so eventually I'm gonna get like a kickback of support, and that's a terrible mindset. But yeah, like I don't mind multiple tabs, multiple devices. If that's how you want to support me, that's fine. Just don't expect that I'm gonna do it back. That's it.
That's a huge one.
Yep.
Makes a lot of sense. Does anyone have anything to add before we move on? It must be quick. Oh, all right.
No, I thought about talking about what had happened. That you know what happened, but I'm not.
Do I know
the guy
what
that
happened?
was like asking about like, should I leave if I followed someone for so long and they don't follow me
That
back?
oh god.
I can't talk about that quickly, so I won't.
We call that extended follow for follow. That's it's not okay.
I won't talk about it because you know damn well I'm not gonna be able to say that quickly because that was a lie.
You know what? Maybe we can touch upon it here, and it's something I have put thought into every now and again. Maybe some of you have not, but actually, someone recently sort of approached Blue and I about it. The idea of promoting and endorsing others, giving people shout outs, just telling people to check so and so out. We won't go too much into brands, more so just fellow streamers. Because I'll say off the bat, I'll put myself on the burner here. When fellow streamers come in to my chat, if I know they're streamers and I like them as people, I'll throw them a shout out. Streaming's fucking tough. I want to be there for people. Maybe their content will jive with someone. What I've learned to do over the course of my tenure on Twitch was to sort of temper them. Like, if I really know someone, if I know their content, I'll add a bit of flair to the shout out, provided the atmosphere allows for it. If I don't know them too much, I'm like, oh, okay, cool, they stream. Show everyone their link, whatever. Yeah. As long as they're not, like, rude or assholes or something, obviously. And I do think there's two things I want to avoid. I don't want to be that person who's like, hey, go check out this person, they're awesome, even though I've never been any of their streams. Because I'll tell people, I will shout someone out and say, look, all the interactions I've had with this person were awesome, but I've yet to catch them live. I'm looking forward to doing so, though. If you want to check them out, do it up. On the other hand, I don't want to devalue those who I do shout out. So, like, my friends and people whose content I could actually vouch for, by shouting out everybody else. So again, I think the balance for me has been to sort of temper it with just be upfront with everybody. These people I know to be awesome, check them out. Hey, let's show a fellow streamer some love. What are your thoughts on that? Am I overthinking this shit?
Just like my real quick, because I don't have a ton to say on this, believe it or not. I do like I do a shout out for people who I know. If I know you well and I like am super familiar with your content, you have an event. It's because I use Streamlabs chatbot, and so it's like in the Streamlabs chatbot, it's called an event. And like so, Slurp has one, for example, where like the second that you talk in my chat, there's an auto shout out. It has some sort of message or meme or whatever, plus a link.
Or whatever.
And like, or whatever. Maybe I'd say shut the fuck up, Slurp, and then type Slurp maybe in the chat 75 times. You know, who knows? But there's some sort of message. If I know you and I know your content and I like your content and like I have like a relationship with you, then you have what is an event in my chatbot where the second that you talk, everybody sees your link, and that is like proof that I'm like, I like this person so much that I can't stand the idea of them being here and you not knowing that they're perfect. And like, I mean, I do give shout outs to other people, but I don't do shout outs to people who I don't know anything about.
Fair enough.
If I don't necessarily have to have watched your stream, but I have to at least know you as a person a little bit before I'll give you a shout out at all.
Yes.
For me, I've gotten into the habit of not doing so many shout outs. It's very rare that I do them. And it's for the sake of I want to value the shout outs that I actually mean. So I don't want to devalue those by shouting out everyone. So I usually do them after someone raids me, like that's a given in my stream. But my mods know that unless I start like going off on like a tangent about somebody, don't just shout people out. I've actually had to tell mods to not go haywire with shout outs because I've had mods that do. They just shout everyone out. I'm like, nope, I did not endorse that. That's fine though, you know. Then I talk to them later. But I think that it strengthens my opinion as a fellow streamer if I dial back who I shout out.
Makes sense. Yeah, I have no argument against that.
For,
Oh,
like I was gonna say, for me, I have to start trying to rein myself in because I tend to shout out literally everybody that frequents my streams normally, even if they don't stream. Like I have people that like are just always coming into my channel and spending time, and like I'll shout them out and they're like, "But I don't stream. Why are you shouting out?" Because you are always here. Like you deserve the love. You know what I mean? And like if I find out someone new, like someone follows me and I'm like, "Hey, do you stream?" and they say, "Yeah," I'm like, "Blah, blah, 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 blah." I'm like, go check them out. And like I think about it and like, should I stop doing that? Am I like putting my channel at risk? Like, what if they don't turn out to be like the person, whatever? And then I thought about it and I'm like, I don't know, I can't not do it. Like I want to like give back somehow in some way to like anybody who spends time in my channel. So I know I should rein it back probably, but I don't see myself doing it.
So Blue, my like one and only little bit of feedback to that is that like, so I did.
wait, Sierra, how quick are you gonna be? Because we still got to get to Magnus
quick.
and got okay.
Very, very quick. Just I had someone in my channel who was regular, and it wasn't a shout out, but I went ahead and rated them. And I went there, and the content that was going on at that moment was incredibly transphobic. I have a lot of trans people in my audience. I had to apologize for that whole interaction later on. So that is part of why I am now very cautious about who I endorse.
That makes
like
sense.
I don't want to tie my name to someone who might, you know, who I don't know their content and they might fuck up.
Right. Yeah,
That's
no,
fair.
That makes sense.
So, I have a thing that I have been doing since I want to say about like the 5th month that I started streaming. Anytime I get a follow on Fridays, because it's my day off from the hospital shifts and everything, and I don't stream on it, I'll actually go ahead and pull up all the follows that I got over the week, and I'll take a look at their streams. If they stream, I'll take a look at their VODs. And I'll go ahead and give myself like a 10, 15, 20-minute window right in the middle just to see what their content's like. If I like it, I'll follow them back because I want to see more of their stuff. Or I'll keep them in mind to go ahead and keep them for people I might shout out or rate in the future. With that, though, when it comes to my stream, I'll shout out people I know and I trust their content. I'll shout out IRL friends, and I have like one of my Streamloots cards and one of my point things does come with a shout out. However, there are caveats to them. There are streamers, believe it or not, with this charming mug that I despise. And there are some people that some of my viewers love. So they'll be like, "Hey, can I shout out so-and-so?" And I'll go, "No."
Ah, got him.
I can't, because I'm not going to endorse their content. You can go there as much as you'd like on your own, but
I don't know how
will
to deal
never
with
take
that.
you there.
Same.
What's that?
I said I don't know how to deal with that. Like I don't know how to tell them like, no, you can't. I'm like, I don't know how to do that. But
that is from like years of working in medical, radio, just years of stuff where I've had to find very pleasant ways to tell people to like no. Like I can't let the patient go ahead and walk to the bathroom when they're on like 3 things of Vicodin.
Sure.
So I've had to learn how to say no to just about any scenario. So when it comes to things that I don't want, I tell them no.
Where we live helps too.
Oh yeah, no, being from Jersey just means that I get to be an asshole all the time. People are like, why is he like that? He's from Jersey. Oh, okay.
Oh yeah.
It does make it better. Thank you, Magnus. Gothix?
I'll take a different approach here. Currently, the current shout out, feature on Twitch, I think it's pointless, to be perfectly honest with you. Like,
Fair.
It's literally just like a link in chat. So before I would get like a raid and I would say, "Hey, thank you so much for the raid, Oh, can I get a shout out?" You just did. They can click on your name. It's like literally right there. You can click on it. So like that's how I look at it.
2 clicks.
That's valid.
Yeah, 2 clicks. So like, but as far as like me endorsing people, if I like post an original tweet and like I tag you in it, I tag a clip, that's me endorsing you. I think that social media like promotion is a little bit more valuable than like, inner chat linking. And then the same thing with like, if you're on my show or something, like I am endorsing you then, but like for like random shout outs, it doesn't do anything. Like, I don't know. So
Yeah.
That's valid.
I
I
understand that stance. I've found that my community will actually go ahead and take a look at people's chat, though. Like, I've actually found like reliable feedback of at least my mods will go look if I endorse someone. So different strokes, different folks, different places. I totally get that. I understand that wholeheartedly.
I'm in the middle. I would say I think Gothix brought up a really good point with social media, which I think we're going to be getting into in a little bit. I do want to move this along. Does anyone have any very quick final thoughts on this subtopic? Nobody? All right, awesome. So now, self-promotion. Do you allow it in your channel or on your posts on social media? When is it okay for people to do?
It's never okay. If I will shout you out. It goes right back to the same thing. If I endorse you, I will shout you out. I will say something. I will have a command in my chat so that when you talk, it says, "Shut the fuck up, Slurp, but I love this human, so here, go watch him." Like, you don't do it in my shit without my permission. Absolutely not. Like, because then that goes right back to being like someone who I endorse because it's on my content and I allowed it to be on my content. So I endorse that person, and then what if once again we go in somewhere and you're transphobic as shit and like someone that I don't fuck with? I can't deal with that. So I do not allow it whatsoever. Even in my chat, mods are the only ones who can post links.
No, see,
Like
for
if
me,
someone wants a link posted, send it to a mod. They'll decide. I don't deal with it. I don't do it.
yeah, for me, like, I and Magnus, you've been there. You and me have done this little dance before. I usually ask people, like, I'll say to them when they're in my stream, when are you streaming next, and what are you streaming? And Magnus always like, well, I don't want to say anything because
I think it's fine
soon.
ask.
And I'm like, I'm asking, so it's okay. You know what I mean? Like, it's totally fine if I'm asking for you to be like, I'm streaming in an hour, I'm streaming in 5 minutes, whatever. Where I draw the line is if someone comes into the stream and is like, I'm streaming right now, without me saying anything. That's one of the rudest, most against streamer etiquette things you can possibly do. I don't care if you're a veteran of 5 years of streaming, if it's your first stream, like whatever, you don't do it. It's so rude.
I think people have a lot of faith in people to give a shit about people's links because like I've had people like post links in my chat, on my Twitter posts, in my Discord, that like people don't give a shit about your link. And as I put it on Twitter, your link dick, because it's just as aggressive as shoving a dick in someone's face and being like, here, click this. No one gives a shit about your links.
Are you contending that doesn't work? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I gotta stop doing that.
That doesn't work. So, like, what I'm saying is you can do better, and if you have to market yourself as shoving your link dick in people's faces, then that's on your bad, you know? You have to kind of get better with yourself. But if you really think that will work, do it, boo. Do it.
I hear that.
Can we get link dick trending on Twitter, please?
I tried already. It didn't work.
We're doing it tonight. Everybody, go on Twitter. You know what to do. SirKatelyn, I'll say this much. I get what you're saying. Like, ultimately, it is a bad look for them. It's not something you could really control, so why sweat it? Maybe just like a quick timeout or something. I don't know. If someone's dropping their link in your chat, what's your go-to move? Randomly.
I say, okay, what am I supposed to do with that? Or like, I'll make some kind of passive comment about that. Say, okay, what's this? Who are you? What do you want? I'll be kind of passive or passive aggressive about it, or just aggressive. It's fine.
What if they continuously say shit like, "Hey, go check out my stream. Here's my link. I'll be streaming this tomorrow." And I'm not saying in one message. I mean like multiple messages.
They don't really get past one or two before I shut them down, man. I'm 100%.
I've not had
Shut.
I'm like, okay, no, we don't do self-promotion in my chat, and then if they do it again, I'm like, okay, you're out. That's it. Pineapple.
Okay, gotcha. So there is that element of banning or timing out if they're being like abusive
It's
with
like
it.
the same if people were to spam something, you know? Like, so if someone said the same thing over and over and over and over and over, I'd be like, okay, once was enough. I don't have to say it again, you know?
That's fair. So like I was saying, I do agree with the notion that it's ultimately just a bad look for them. At the same time, since the beginning of Twitch, I kind of went in with the mentality of like, what if we're musicians on stage? Let's say I'm friggin' Jay-Z out here, and then we have
I'm at
Papoose.
the show.
You're definitely at the show. Then we have like Papoose come up on stage in the middle of Jay-Z performing, and he's like, "Yo, everybody, check out my show right on the stage over there. It's gonna be awesome. Just come on by." In the meantime, Jay's in the background, like, "What the fuck's going on?" Like, yeah, I get it. I would hope most of the people in the audience are gonna be like, "The fuck is this dude doing? Like, get off the stage. We don't want to see you." But at the same time, it's just a really rude sort of thing to do, and it is bothersome. But I like the way you seem to handle it, SirKatelyn. Does anyone?
I like that Caitlyn is very nonchalant and chill about everything, and she's like, "Nah, if you're doing something I don't like, then like, I mean, fuck you, who cares?" I love it. I'm loving her energy.
Just
It all dials back to the it's your house. You choose what goes on in your house.
Yes.
You choose how you're talked to. You choose how you talk to people. You choose what goes on. So that's like a huge mindset. I can pretty much decide who says or does what in my channel, and kind of go from there. And I think that more people have to get in that mindset of you don't owe anybody things. It's your house.
This is true.
Yeah, and that's very new for me, but a thing that I've been starting to do, and like, you're right.
Retro Lag brought in an interesting dynamic to this. Someone throwing their clips in your chat too, and let's. I'm just throwing it out there. If
I've seen that.
I've seen that and had it happen. But anyway, Gothix, Magnus, self-promotion, whether it's clips, link dropping, anything, their social media. Like, where do you draw the lines? What do you do to react? When is it okay?
Let Gothix go first, yeah.
I interact with them because I am just like genuinely curious what the frig possessed them that this was a good idea. Like, what convinced you that this was a good idea? So if it's in my chat, I say no. And if they continuously post their link, I've done this in the past, I'll open up the link live and I'll check out their stuff. And it will usually end up with like, I hate it. You know, I had somebody come into my channel, "Can you check out my latest single on SoundCloud?" And he posts the SoundCloud link. And I'm like, "Okay, yeah, sure. I hate it." Well, like, you're not expecting that, right? So like, maybe you'll think twice about like going into some stranger's channel and link dropping. You have to be prepared for like the negative responses that you're gonna get. And like on social media,
I love that.
On social media, it's the same thing. It's like, I'll post something about my content, and then in the comments, "Oh, check out my channel, I'm going live," or people tagging me in their going live post, which is like a totally different story. And I've interacted with them also, like, "What the fuck did you tag me?" And that's like, "What's wrong with you? Like, what's wrong with you?" So like, I honestly, I just have these like conversations with them. Also about the clip thing, this happened one time. Somebody came to my channel and clipped my clips, but the title was their link to their Twitch profile. See,
Wow.
amazing. We've reached the new standard of self-promotion.
I can't even wrap my head around that right now. What is happening?
I actually recently pulled a Gothix because this person on like one of my streams the other night, they were like, "Yeah, check out my stream," and I was like, "Are you streaming?" And I pulled up their stream, and I was like, "Hey, you're not even streaming. You're like lying to me. You have me having like false hope right now. I can't even watch you." And so I totally thought of her. I was like, this is what Gothix would do.
That's what's up.
So, I've had two different reactions to people kind of plugging their own thing. One I knew was a brand new person to Twitch and really didn't have much of a reaction or interaction with like other channels before. On top of that, it was my fiance's best friend's fiance. So that one, it was kind of like, mods, delete that real quick. I sent him a message over Facebook, be like, "Hey, so brief basic etiquette for you. I know you're brand new to all this. Don't do that." But it was me, so there was far more profanity in calling him a dumb Canadian. On the flip side of that coin, the only time I've ever seen someone put their own clips in someone else's channel is when somebody asked for them. So if someone were to drop their clips in my channel, I think it would bring out the worst of my old stand-up. Like, I feel like it would immediately drag me to heckler mode, which is gonna leave them with like a congratulations, what the fuck is this? And then it's gonna be like, hold on, let's go ahead and laugh at your opportune time of using things that have nothing to do with what we're talking about together. That's when you go ahead and you pull up. It's like, oh, look at this. You did a thing once.
One time.
Can you do it again? And then you can do it again when? As soon as they reply, nobody cares when you're doing it again. Goodbye.
That's fair.
It's just you shut down the hecklers. That was one of the things that I learned from doing stand-up and improv. You go ahead, you build them up, you give them that hope, and then you smite them down. It's just like if you were to go in as like a McDonald's employee, walk into Wendy's and be like, you want to check out my chicken strips? First of all, that's super awkward and creepy. Second of all, why are you here? Third of all, what are you doing? Like, none of it makes sense from a logic standpoint, and that's the problem. Because we go in assuming that people are going to be logical, but most people aren't.
That's a very fair point.
Yeah. So, yeah, self-promotion. I don't deal with that. Odds are you'll probably hear my little get out of here audio clip from that one.
That's what's up.
Yeah, right after the band.
Thank you, Magnus.
Yarp.
Sierra, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I don't remember if you went on this subtopic here. Did you?
I did.
Okay, just making sure.
Yep.
There's been a lot of
I
talking.
said my piece on this.
Okay. Thank you
Quickly.
for confirming. Wanted to make sure we got to everybody before we... Well, did you want to elaborate a little bit? We do have a couple more
No,
minutes
I'm good.
left.
I didn't have a ton to say. I said what I had to say, and I moved on.
Fair enough. All right. So the last part of etiquette is raids. So, raids... let me pull this itinerary back up. So, thankless raidees... Let's tackle that quick. People who are like, you raid someone... 84 people, 80,000 people, one person, and they're just like, oh, or don't even acknowledge it. Is that okay? Should we expect a thank you as streamers for raiding, or is that even too much to ask?
It's definitely not okay. I'll tell you why. Because when you raid someone, like that... Like, I've said this a million times, and I'll continue to say it a million more times. It's the most intimate thing a streamer can do for any other streamer.
They're inside you now.
Yes. We should be getting married, basically. Like, we are past the honeymoon phase and into the BDSM kinky shit.
I like it.
Like, you share your channel, you're sharing your community, and, like, you're putting your trust into that channel to like expose your community to them. So if I raid someone and they're just like, they kind of just nod, keep playing, whatever, and I did have that happen to me. I raided with like, what was big for me, it was like 14 people, and I'd never raided this person before. It was on a suggestion, and I was super jazzed because I love doing it for new people and getting like new eyes on them and helping them out, because they had like one viewer. And like, we jump in and I'm expecting like some excitement, and they just kind of nodded their head and was like, oh cool, raid. And that was it. Like, that was the extent of their interaction the entire time. And I was just like, meanwhile, if I get raided by one person, like, I love it. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah.
Like, I'm super thankful that you chose me of all people to like bring your channel over to, and I can't fathom that anyone wouldn't be thankful for that and like show some kind of modicum of appreciation.
I hear that. Agreed.
I very much agree, and like, so my thing is like, because we talked earlier about entitlement and like the viewership dynamic and like who's entitled to what and whatever, and so if I rate somebody, I do expect not necessarily like you to, you know, melt down and cry and freak out, but I expect like at the very least like a, oh my god, thank you so much, welcome into the stream, welcome raiders, hi, I'm so and so, this is what I'm doing, this is what I do. Like, I expect an amount of like, hi, I'm happy that you're here, like a positive welcome, not for me, but for my viewers.
Right.
Like this is my family. These are my friends. These are people who are close to me, who support me, who do a lot for me. And I'm all done tonight. I'm spent, but they're not. They're still ready to like continue with their energy onto something.
Yes.
So I'm bringing them somewhere that I feel like, okay, if you were having a good time tonight, you will probably love this. You will enjoy it over there as well. Let's go carry our energy over somewhere else. Let's show another streamer some love, and let's give the same support that you've given to me. And like, I'm excited, they're excited, and the streamer's like, okay. So I'm just like, come on, like,
You
so
know,
it bothers me not as because I think I am owed that, but because I'm like, my community's done so much for me, and I ended my stream with like, let me at least do you guys a favor and give you somewhere that you can continue to have a great time, and I didn't do that. So now I feel shitty because I'm like, I didn't give you somewhere you could have a great time. I gave you somewhere that was low energy and sad. And like that makes me sad.
I hear that.
So yeah, I think it needs to be more than that.
Thank you for that.
I don't think it's too much to expect the stream that you're reading to be appreciative. Well, yeah, be appreciative of what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
You're bringing your friends over to them. The least that I expect is like, hey, welcome, thank you. Here's who I am. That's all I really want, because then I might know who the person is, but my community might not. I would like to have them feel comfortable enough to either talk or feel comfortable to like follow and come back to that streamer, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Is that all?
Yeah.
Fair enough. Thank you for that. Magnus or Gothix?
You want to go first, Gothix, or I'll go first?
Sure, I'll go.
All right.
So, as far as like being appreciative for raids and stuff like that, like I'm gonna give majority of streamers the benefit of the doubt that they just don't know what the hell they're doing. It's so like so I don't get like personally insulted. I used to when I wouldn't get like a thank you or whatever. But now the thing that kind of annoys me just a little bit is like when they ignore the actual people that are in the raid. So like a perfect example, I raided somebody, they were in the middle of an Overwatch match and they were just like, oh, I got a raid, hold on, I'm playing a game. And like the game lasted for like an extra 10 minutes and she just still didn't acknowledge who was in the chat. So like I'm hoping that most people would like at least show respect to the people that I'm bringing in, you know, as far as like thank you, you know, it'd be nice, but I'm not gonna get upset about it. But like it would also like show me in the future that I'm probably not gonna raid you again. Yeah.
I totally agree with that. For anyone who's ever been in my channel when there's a raid, I have literally scared my viewers with my raid alert many times because they just do not expect it coming. It is very angry, aggressive industrial that just literally starts yelling at you essentially. So I'm always very high energy about raids because you've trusted me with your wayward children that you're abandoning. You're going on to do other things. These are the people that you've been watching for hours. Now you've gone ahead and shoved them into my house. Okay, please don't color on the furniture. But other than that, I'm glad to have you. So like when I go ahead and raid, I've had a couple of raids where like the person hasn't reacted at all, or the person has gone ahead and had very subpar reactions, like of a, oh, hey, thanks for that. And let me tell you, they immediately get crossed off that raid list because I ain't bringing these people back there. I've given them like 2.5, 3 hours of yelling enthusiastically about video games and your level of energy is, you stole my stapler. Like, that's your level of energy for me? Okay, well, this isn't what I was looking for. Sorry, guys, we'll fix this tomorrow. But I will say this. I've noticed that a lot of larger streamers, even when they get tiny raids, get very excited because that infectious excitement energy carries over. Those people are like, oh, crap, this guy's happy to see me. Let's stick around. Let's do this. That's one of the benefits I had from sitting around on Twitch before it was Twitch, when it was just in TV in like 2011. I got to watch what worked and what failed miserably. And one of the things that I noticed is people either, if you're a fantastic gamer and your gameplay is amazing, they'll watch you whatever the hell you're doing. But if like you're there
Yes.
with a community mentality and your energy level is right around I stubbed my toe and I have to go into work today, like nobody's really there for it. They won't go ahead and stick around unless they've already invested in you for some reason. You're not going to have that much of a retention of new people. But the ones that are like, holy crap, you brought in 20 new people. Hey, new friends, what's going on? Those are the ones that my viewers are going to be sitting there like, oh, hey, this guy's nice. I want to talk to him, see what he has to think about things. That's what's going to give them that reason to stick around and see what your personality's about.
Mm.
Even if it's a bad day, like throw a little bit of energy. Give me something to work with. Because odds are I'm going to keep your stream up. I'm going to cook something and I'll be listening. Like, I'm still going to go ahead and see how you react to my viewers, too.
If it's such a bad day that you can't even say, hey, thanks, then, like, you probably shouldn't be streaming today. Take a mental health day. Chill the hell out.
I'm a bit iffy on there because I stream to de-stress, so I know there are some people, like, there's been days I've come on and it's like, hey, Kat, today sucked. Let's go ahead and play
That was me
video
after my view botting the other day.
But
Like,
Magnus, has you having a bad day ever kept you from thanking somebody for
Never.
a nice gesture?
right.
No.
There you have it.
Exactly.
There you have it. Magnus, thank you for those insights. We are running over on this topic. I'm tempted to close out this 5-minute segment, after which point we will be taking a break for chat interaction to see some of your questions. I would like to touch on this. It's a tie-in to the viewer-streamer dynamic. Someone brought up in that conversation about I forget what it was already. A lot's happened since then.
Boo.
The raids. Is there an obligation? Not an obligation, but should the mentality behind a raid be like, okay, we just put, as a streamer, we put on this great show for hours at a time for these viewers. Do they owe any sort of I'll say obligation because I don't have a better word here, to come on this raid with us to keep the hype moving? Or is it 100% on the viewer, like, come or don't come, it doesn't matter, like, it's all in your court? Like, how much
Come
of
or
it?
don't. I think it's nice if they come, but if they don't, like, I mean, I don't give a shit, honestly.
Fair
It's
enough.
nice if you do, but if you don't, whatever.
I definitely don't think it's an obligation. I would never call it.
It's not a good
But
word.
like, but I mean, it's definitely a choice. You can join if you want to, but you don't have to. I'm not gonna require it. But it's awesome if you do, because it gives more hype to the prospective streamer that's being rated.
For
I
me,
agree.
it's not a prerequisite to do, but like I always say, like I would super appreciate if you come to said raid, because it helps not just the person you're raiding, but also the raider. You know what I mean? Like it's a difference if you have like 10 people, like, and 20 people, like, yeah, they're going to be excited either way, but like it's going to be more excitement for that person. They're going to be a little more like,
The more the
wow,
merrier.
like, they were able to convince what?
The more the merrier.
Right, exactly. So like to me, it's like kind of like holding open a door for someone. No, you don't have to hold open the door for the person behind you, but it's the polite thing to do.
Yeah.
You don't have to stay afterwards. You can
No,
always
for
jump
sure.
on the raid and then literally dip out if you don't want to stay.
Yeah, if
I
I'm
usually-
there at the time of a raid, I'm like, a raid, here's that person's raid message. Okay, now I might have to leave. Like,
Right. Like
But I
I
try to at
usually
least
give
do
like
that.
5 minutes, like to like if I'm in someone else's raid, I'll give like 5 minutes to see if I like the person or not, you know. And if I do, I stay around. If not, I leave because that channel's not for me. But like honestly, what is that extra 30 seconds or whatever that it takes to do a raid, to literally spread some positivity? Because like that's what you're doing. You're spreading love. You're spreading positivity. You're spreading kindness. Who wouldn't want to be a part of that?
right.
Again,
Like, unless you absolutely have to go somewhere, like, oh, I literally have somewhere to be in 5 seconds. Like, okay, fine, you know, whatever. But if not, like, it's 30 seconds of your time. Like, come on.
Blue, I hear that. I just want to say real quick, I heard SirKatelyn use the word that I use, and I've seen it in chat. Again, obligation, awful word. I can't think of it right now. I really got to use the bathroom, so my mind's having trouble. I mean, like, do you feel, is there anything owed on the viewer's end? It comes back to the idea of the streamer-viewer dynamic of streamer putting on a show or viewer showing support simply by being there. I think most of us would argue both occur simultaneously. But alright, continuing on this topic of the raid, Gothix, do you have anything to add to that?
I don't think it's obligation at all. Like, if you can join in, join in. People got lives.
Yes.
Whatever. People got things to do. You gotta go take a shit. You gotta go take care of the wife and kids, whatever. I don't. It's nice. It would be nice, but like, again, like, I don't get upset if nobody can do it. To be honest, I'm one of those people that opt out. Like, I'm just like, I don't want to go. I want to stay here.
In this blank channel that's not on air.
Yeah. I want to check out the vibes a little bit more. I want to
Okay.
go here.
Fair enough. I respect that. Magnus, anything to add on that?
Mine's gonna be short on this one. I don't feel like anyone should feel even compelled to go ahead and continue on with the raid. However, I hope that the viewers who are having a good enough time on my channel trust my intuition on what they may enjoy to at least give this person a chance, even if it's not right.
I love that. I love it. I'll give my opinion with this sentiment. For raiding and other similar minor gestures, it's kind of a matter of why should I versus why wouldn't I. I'm always of the mind of why wouldn't I. It's a nice gesture, definitely not necessary. I thought it was worth bringing up because well, we won't get into it right now. What we're gonna do now is get into chat questions. So I have one written down. Feel free to ask questions or share stuff now. If anyone would like to get up for a little bit, mind you, everyone on the panel, y'all can get up at any point during the show if you got to tend to something. You're not like beholden here.
To maybe my bladder is the thing I'd like to tend to.
Yes, tend to it.
More water.
Okay, do it up. I will say try to hurry back if possible because I'm sure chat would like to hear from a bunch of you. First, I will pull up Word where I have one of the questions copied. We had a question from Shadowwrath. My question is, what do you think about some streamers with sticks up their ass who ban people because you are not around anymore? Oh god, everyone left. Everybody left. I didn't know. I pulled up my screen for 1 minute. Everyone's gone.
Don't worry, you still got me, boo-boo.
I do, Blue. Thank you. I love you. I'm waiting for those four to come back before I go to use the bathroom. Blue, anyone in chat, how would you guys handle a person like that who has a stick up their ass and bans people who aren't around anymore? What?
So wait, are you saying someone who used to come to the channel and then like all of a sudden is coming to the channel? Is that what that means, or?
Like, I'm guessing a community member who used to come around but doesn't a lot anymore or at all. Shadow, that seems very ludicrous to me.
That's blows my mind. Like, I can't even process how I would respond to that because I don't think any of my mods would do it without me saying something, and I definitely wouldn't say something about that. To me, you could be in every, like, a once in 6 months kind of person. Whenever you can spend time in the channel is appreciated by me.
What's happening?
So, like, I would never ban someone just because, well, they haven't been here in X amount of time. That's what?
Yeah.
What? Wait,
so
what?
Okay, Sierra, the question is, what do you think about some streamers with sticks up their ass who ban people because you're not around anymore?
Who fucking does that? I had someone
God.
my Discord.
Oh, God.
I had a former mod who I used to like mod everybody, right? I was very much like, because I would mod a couple people, then trolls would come in, and then I was like, oh shit, I need more mods, and I would emergency mod people. So I used to mod everyone before I did this whole mod manual, and like before I became more recently much more involved with who my moderators were. But so an old mod who's no longer a mod anymore, has not been in my stream in months, left my Discord. I thought that I did something wrong. There was no like, oh, I'm gonna ban this person. I was like, oh no, I hurt their feelings. And they came back recently and I was like, oh, I'm so glad you're here. And they were like, oh shit, wait, I'm not in your Discord. Why am I not in your Discord? I'm like, I don't know, I thought you were mad at me. Like, so the idea of like penalizing someone else for leaving the community for an amount of time is ridiculous. Because one, generally speaking, if someone leaves my community for an amount of time or is gone for 6 months, I think that I did a thing wrong. Not that they're monsters, but that I did something and I hurt their feelings. I'm more likely to reach out to them and be like, sorry, what happened? But
yes,
like, I feel like, I don't know, like, life happens. We lose jobs, we get new jobs, babies are born, marriages happen.
That's not true.
Happen. Like, you know what? You don't know that because you're an infant yourself. So how the hell would you know? But life happens. People have babies, they get married, they move to different states, they like go on vacation, they have mental breakdowns and just need a break from the internet for a while. Things happen and that's okay, and we need to be okay with that. I can't imagine hating on anybody for not being around for a while. Like I said, if someone's not around for a while, my first instinct is for me to be like, what did I do wrong? Why are you mad at me? I'm sorry, how can I fix it?
Sierra,
I just would assume it's me.
thank you for that. I appreciate you bringing up the idea of like checking on that person, seeing what's up. Why would the immediate response be go to a ban? I will share this before I go to use the bathroom real quick and then leave the show in all of your very capable hands for that juncture. So I think this question was asked actually by another friend of mine on social media. And I kind of came up with the analogy of, like, think of yourself as an artist with fans. Like, are you going to say to one of your fans, oh, you were only at one of my last 10 shows, so now you can't come to any of them ever again?
Right.
Like, what? And granted, there's a lot to consider with Twitch. The relationships, the platform itself, there's so much nuance. It just seems absolutely absurd to me that someone would do that, especially without, like, reaching out and seeing what's up to begin with. If there was like bad blood there, then sure. But if it's just taking it as, oh, they haven't been here in a while, fuck them. I don't like that.
I don't feel that at all.
For real. Yeah. So the question, Magnus, SirKatelyn, and Gothix was from Shadowwrath. She wanted to know, what do you think about some streamers with sticks up their ass who ban people because you are not around anymore? Very ominous stuff right there. Guys, feel free to ask more questions in chat, and y'all feel free to address it. I will be right back, and we will get moving on to the last section. We're going to start with titties, but that's for later. BRB.
Right. So I'll just jump on that one like a crazed maniac. One of my mods, like, has decided that he hates Twitch. And, like, I don't hold that against him. Like, he disappeared for a bit. And like I messaged him, I'm like, hey, are you okay? Like, what's going on? Because this was around the time that like Portugal was on fire, and he was from Portugal. So I was like, oh, dude, like something must have happened. Like, are you okay? Blah, blah, blah. And he's like, yeah, no, like I just can't support Twitch and Amazon. And it's like, well, I appreciate the fact that we're having this conversation now. But like, you know, best of luck to whatever is going on with you. And like to this day, if he comes back, he's still a mod. Like, I trust him enough. He's been someone I've known for years, even beyond Twitch. And like, I can respect that he doesn't want to support Amazon or Twitch as a company. I get it. And then he was one of those like, you should move to Mixer. And I'm like, no. So, but yeah, no, I don't see why you would ban someone for being busy or away or whatnot. Like, if there's some issue, that's a different story. But I'm totally against that mentality.
Yeah, I just can't believe anyone would actually think of doing that. That actually baffles me.
SirKatelyn, Gothix, do you guys have anything to say on that?
I don't have no input except what the fuck's wrong with people? That's
honestly,
they're people.
I can't fathom that that's an actual thing. Like, what's wrong with you? That's it.
SirKatelyn, do you have anything to add to it?
No, that's pretty much it. Like, what's wrong with people? I mean, I've had people that like that literally have not been in my stream for a long time, but like, I'm like, yo, you must have a life or something. You know, if you can't be here, don't even worry about it. I'm never gonna like require it of you. It's never gonna be one of those things where you have to be. No, you have a whole ass life outside of this stream, a whole life.
That's not true.
Wait, what? You
What?
don't? Oh yeah, you don't. That's fine.
So I see Brighton asked a question that I've seen come up a lot, and I would love to hear everybody's input, because I don't know about the rest of you. I know a handful of you do not use one, and I do not. But Brighton asked, does a green screen make you a better streamer?
No.
What do you guys think about that?
No.
No.
Do you feel, because this kind of goes back to the hardware questions that we were talking about in the beginning, do you think that a green screen, like what do you think a green screen adds or takes away? What do you think about being a green screen streamer or not? Like generally
I think it
speaking.
adds creativity. Like you can do a lot with a green screen, but it's not necessary. I mean, I actually just got a DSLR, so you know, behind me is my whole background now. So I like having a green screen because I can do more with it, but it's not a necessity. There are people who again don't have cameras and stream just fine, or have just like a normal background, and they're very 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 popular. You know.
Yeah, I think that there's two different types of streams, right? Like you can see like a green screen streamer, and a lot of the times there's like two different kinds of green screen streamer. There's the one type who just uses is like, okay, cool, so it's just like the silhouette of me in front of my game. And then there's people like my friend Casper, the Spicy Ghost, who is on the Goth Squad there with you two, who is a green screen streamer who uses a lot of special effects with green screen. It does allow you to do so many things. I don't think that you need one. I don't have one. I'm doing fine. But I do think that if you don't have one, you do need to be mindful of your surroundings. My bedroom's been a mess lately, and that sucks. But I've got this beautiful skull tapestry that I've made a point to make sure that it is within the view of my camera. Pink is not necessarily my favorite color, but my hair is pink, my headphones are pink. So I literally bought a pink bed set. When I needed a new bed set, I was like, I should get one that is gonna look okay on the stream. And so I got all pink shit for my bed because I knew that it was gonna be visible in the stream. I will sometimes set up my pink plushies and stuff back there. I'm mindful of my surroundings because I'm like, this is part of my stream now since I don't have a green screen.
That's definitely something to consider. As streamers, especially most of us being on a budget, we gotta work with what we have. So if you could add some of your personality to your background, then that'll do you better than a green screen would if you wouldn't even use it right to begin with. Anyone want to add to that?
Yep.
One tip I always give streamers is it's not about the equipment that you own. It's about you as a person and what you're putting into the channel, content-wise.
100%.
How interactive are you or whatever. I literally, but again, you have to be mindful of your surroundings if you're not using a green screen. I hopped in a random channel the other night, and the bathroom, I guess, was behind them. And someone just walked in to the bathroom and started doing their thing, and it was completely obvious, and I was just like, all right, I'm out.
With the door open.
No, thank God, no. But yeah,
free content, bruh.
Screen, I mean, okay, if you're creative, add some stuff, but ultimately it's you that's providing the entertainment, so it's not needed.
Good equipment can't fix shitty personalities.
Yes.
Very true.
Yes.
Unless you're a rage streamer, in which case,
Don't.
maybe. I don't. All right, we won't get back into that. Gothix, you want to throw anything in there before we get to titties?
Nah, doesn't. I agree with everybody else. Doesn't change anything. If you suck, you suck.
We could have summed it up like that. I appreciate that. All right, everybody. So the moment we've been waiting for, we're on to the culture now, and the first thing we all want to talk about is alligator titties. And what are they doing? All right, not alligator titties. I lied. But sexuality on Twitch. It's fucking huge. It's a headache. It's been happening since day one of me starting this. There's always people on other people's posts or ranting elsewhere. Oh my god, these titty streamers are stealing my views. It's just so tired. And whenever I ask these people for a reasonable argument, It's just nothing. It's just they think that everybody is just controlled by their sexual desires and can't differentiate between types of content. And one of the things I will say before we move on to someone else is I think it's pretty scary that people think just because someone is attractive and doesn't try to cover it up, that that's all they're about, that sexuality is their main shtick. Someone can have boobs, someone can have a sweet bead, and still have content that's awesome and accessible to everyone, even those who aren't looking to jerk off to someone's fucking Twitch channel. Alright, so, Sierra, you had your hand raised pretty high there. Take it away.
Slurp, you know damn well I've been dealing with this nonstop lately.
I seen it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Slurp has seen it on Facebook. Magnus has also seen it on Facebook. BigBlueD might have, but these two I know have commented on the fact that they have seen it all over Facebook in those groups. Every time that I'm like, I'm going live, everybody loses their fucking shit because I have big boobs and I can't really, like, I'm sorry, but, like, they're mad about it. If I don't wear a regular ass t-shirt, which, like, sometimes, but sometimes I don't because I don't feel like it, it's all hell breaks loose. And I think it's ridiculous. It's like, because it goes back to kind of earlier when we were talking about hardware. And when I said, you know, like, people talk about, oh, I want to, like, I don't know if I want to use a camera because I'm not attractive, or because I'm overweight, or because I'm underweight, or because I'm old, or because whatever the hell. And people are like, I don't want to use a camera because I'm not comfortable with my physical appearance. When I watch people, it's not because of their physical appearance. People watch me, it's not because of my physical appearance. Like, there might be a couple people who pop in and are like, oh, I thought she was cute, so I wanted to go see what she was about. But, like, generally speaking, that is not the situation. And people who are considered to be titty streamers have the same obligation to be entertaining as literally anybody else. Because if someone comes to my stream because they're like, oh, I want to go look at a cute girl, if I'm not entertaining to them, they're not going to stay. Mm-hmm. Like, why would you stay and hang out with me literally just to look at me and my pink hair or whatever? You know what I mean? Like, if you're sticking around, it's because you're sticking around because I talk about mental health and I converse with my community and have a good relationship with my community and I, like, provide content that you give a shit about. So you stay because you like me, not because you like to look at some cleavage. And ultimately, my main point against all of this is if you, as a streamer, are less entertaining than 2 sacks of fat on my chest, then you need to reevaluate you and your content and what the fuck you're talking about or doing.
Yes.
Because, like, my cleavage cannot sustain me as a streamer forever, right? But, like, I still average 30, 40 viewers, which I know is not partner numbers. Like, I'm, like, looking at Gothix as, like, queen of streaming, and I'm like, I cannot sustain what she sustains because Gothix is a goddess. But, like, so I may not be there, but, like, I'm doing well, right? Like, I'm not drowning. And it's like, if my entire appeal is my sexuality, like, then I would be drowning. I would maybe get a bunch of views right at the beginning, and my, like, top peak viewer number would be in, like, the 70s or 80s, but then my average would be shit. My average stays in the 30s, 40s, sometimes 50s, and that would not be true if I was not entertaining to watch outside of the fact that you can see, like, a valley between my cleavage or whatever.
Agreed.
Like, I think it's ridiculous. I had someone come in recently and they were like, nice cleavage, enjoy your report. And I was like, have you read TOS, friend? Because, like, me having a little bit of exposed cleavage is certainly not against TOS. Thank you for playing. Like, I don't get it. I'm sorry that was a bit of a rant from me. It's been very close to home lately.
I've
I've
seen it firsthand.
Sorry.
Thank you for getting it out there. You all good. Who would like to go next on that? And if anyone wants to play devil's advocate, please, because I would personally love to do that, but I can't think of a feasible argument myself.
I think you have the wrong panel for devil's advocate here, because I think between you, myself, and Big Blue, as well as obviously you're dealing with the bullshit that is a lot of people finding something to complain about with other streamers because they can't make their own content enjoyable. We're of the mindset of, if that's what someone's looking for, they're not going to watch me anyway. Like, the entire mentality of they're stealing my views, they weren't your views to begin with. If someone's looking for something sexual or something to do with cleavage, they're not going to look for balding 37 IT professionals sitting in front of his computer going, so this is my favorite part of BioShock.
I mean, I would, but...
Yeah, speak for yourself, Magnus. Come on.
Okay,
No,
I'm not gonna.
I absolutely agree with that. I mean, I feel like this fucking topic is done to death, and I'm tired of hearing about it. Like,
It keeps
like
happening,
there
though.
was.
That's the
But
problem.
like, does it keep happening, or do people just keep talking about it? Because it's like
It keeps happening. I deal with it almost daily. I stream daily,
So-
and I deal with the hate daily.
Me too, but we all know it's gonna happen, right? So, what the hell? Like we all, well, sorry, we all have boobs. Us ladies have boobs. We got
Yeah.
our boobs on, and like, you know, I wanna like, if we don't make it a big deal, it's not gonna be a big deal. At this point, we're just talking about it
No,
for
you're right.
for everything else. So, I don't know. It's just
You're
done
so
to death.
right.
I'm not like.
In my chat. Sorry, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm not like, I'm not saying that we shouldn't be talking about how awful it is that we have to go through this, but can we like think of anything else to complain about? Like, I just and it's just like Magnus said, if someone is looking for quote booby content, they weren't your viewers in the first place, so why the fuck do you care? You're not gonna want some dude like throwing subs or throwing money at you, you know? I mean, maybe you do. I don't know. I'm not gonna judge, but I'm just
Yeah,
saying,
because
like,
people will come into my chat and talk about it. And be
Wait,
like,
Sarah, hold
"Oh,
on,
I can't
Sierra.
put this
Sierra,
in."
one
Sorry.
second. Sarah, were you
So-
done?
no.
Okay,
we-
continue.
I'm sorry.
That's
we
okay.
make it a thing because we make it a thing, and the more that you talk about something, the more it becomes a thing. I don't know. I think that we're part of the problem, I guess. That's like my mindset on it, kind of.
That I
Valid.
respect that take. If I didn't see it happen so frequently and so aggressively,
But
then
look who you're talking to. I get that all the time. Like I am on the receiving end of it.
so
I get it.
all right, SirKatelyn, how would you squash it, or would you just like ignore it and let it keep happening? Like, what's your ideal solution? Just shut up about it, everybody?
I think it kind of depends on the mood that I'm in. If it's like happening in my own chat, I think that it depends on how I'm feeling that day. Sometimes I'll like sass them back a little bit, but usually they're so stuck in the mindset that like they want to see boobs or they want to harass you for having boobs that like you're like whatever you say is not going to get through to them anyway. So they can call me whatever they want to, but in the end of the day, I'm still here doing my thing. So it really doesn't matter what I say or what I think. It's gonna happen. So
Okay.
as long as I arm
Right.
myself with the knowledge that that's gonna happen, I'm in a pretty good spot. Like I know who I am. I know that I'm a woman on Twitch. I know that no matter what top I'm wearing, I'm going to get shit for it. You know, because I'm very 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 chesty, and I'm fucking proud of it. I don't give a shit.
That's fair, as you should be. Sir, that brings up an interesting sort of notion. I've been thinking about it myself. Like, on the one hand, people shouldn't expect to be harassed, but that's kind of where we're at, and it sucks. Like, on the one hand, like, guys, stop being dicks. Like, what, I see it on social media a lot. Like, no, girls shouldn't expect to be harassed no matter what they're wearing. And you know what? That's absolutely right, but it's also absolutely what does not happen. So it's like, it's fucked. It really is fucked, and I feel awful about it.
Fucked.
It is.
It's
Like-
it's one of those things that no one's gonna be able to change. Like there are assholes on the internet that shouldn't be a surprise to all of us. Like people
I agree,
people are
we
sitting
can't victim
anonymously
blame, but,
behind a fucking keyboard and they can say whatever they want to you. So as long as you go in with the mindset of not being a victim about it and owning that shit and be like, yeah, shoot, I have boobs. Yeah, shoot, like whatever you choose to own, fucking own it. If you're like chunky, if you are chesty, like own that shit because no one else can use that shit against you if you own it.
That's true. I respect that. Gothix, I'd like to hear from you.
So we're still talking about boobies?
All them titties. All them titties.
Okay.
Always.
Oh my god. So this is a stupid ass freaking topic. No, it's just
You're
like beating a dead horse. Like,
Okay.
I'm kind of. It's like and I understand, especially for new content creators, it may be a little bit of a shock. Like, I'm the first time I got somebody in my channel criticizing me, like, oh, it's so easy because you're a girl. Like, it was shocking. Like, oh my god, like, what the fuck. So, like, yeah, but at the same time, like, after, like, your initial, like, once, maybe twice that it happens, I do see a lot of streamers where they, like, publicize it, like, look what this person said to me, it was so mean, they were saying that I'm promoting my channel with my boobs, and it's like, yes, we know that there are these creepy people out there, and not even just guys either. Like, I've gotten the same insult from another female, which was, like, shocking to me.
Bewildering.
The
Yeah,
girls
so,
do
like,
it too. They do it too.
Yeah, it like, I don't know, it's just really stupid, and I know that I put all of my work and effort into, like, what I do, so my boobs didn't help me get there, and that's all that matters. It is what it is. It's a stupid topic that needs to die. Okay.
You're right.
So are you with SirKatelyn in the sense that the best route to go is just kind of, if it arises in your end of the street, then deal with it quickly and don't pay it much mind, and that's how we kind of get rid of it or deal with it?
Well, I try to look for any opportunity to educate somebody if I can, depending on how they present that comment to me. So, like, if it's somebody that comes in with, like, seemingly good intentions, like, oh wow, you're a really great streamer, but, you know, I've been streaming for 3 months and I'm not growing, but it's probably easier for you because you're a girl. Like, if they said something like that, I would take the opportunity to educate them. Like, why aren't you growing? Oh, I do all the right things. I post everywhere. And, like, usually when a streamer says I do everything right, they're literally doing nothing. And so, like, and I've had this conversation multiple times with other streamers where it's like, oh, I do everything. I go on their Twitter and it's like a desert. There's nothing there. So it's like you're using kind of like a scapegoat to justify the fact that you're not putting in the work to promote your own channel. That's what it is, but nobody wants to acknowledge that.
I concur.
So, yeah.
It all comes from a place of insecurity, basically, from anyone who does the criticizing. Honestly, if they put in, I actually have proof that it does not work to, like, just be a quote unquote titty screamer with no content, because a friend of mine, like, saw that I was streaming or whatever, and he was like, oh, I want to get into that. So me being me, I told her how to make an account or whatever, thinking she was going to actually do some, like, gaming, whatever. Her entire channel was just her getting dressed and undressed, like, basically, or dancing around in her underwear, and, like, maybe had 3 viewers, if that, maximum. And it's like, if people were really looking for that, like,
Chatterbait.
it would, yeah, well, that, but also, like, he would have had a lot more views. But people go for content on Twitch. If you have the content, you get the views. Plain and simple. If you're not getting the views, you don't have the content. It's easy math, people.
I agree. Did anybody want to expound further upon this now that it's beaten twice to death? All right, I'll take that. Oh.
No, I'm just gonna say that I don't feel like we need to.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. I get it. I'm gonna work on a solution. We're gonna come up with a 4-step plan to combat it. All right. Here's what the next topic: the LGBTQIA+ tag. So this was a hot topic on Twitter, at least like a few weeks back. I don't know if it's recurring or not. I realized a lot of stuff with Twitter is. What I'll ask is, what do you feel? Is it appropriate for allies to use it, or should it be reserved for members of the LGBTQIA+ community?
I don't hate on an ally for using it. I will never, like, be angry with an ally for using it, but I will say, as an LGBT person, if I were to search the LGBT tag, I'm looking for someone who has a shared experience with me. I'm not looking for someone who is a safe space for me. It's cool that you're, like, reaching out and doing that, but I'm not looking for someone who is saying, I support you. I'm looking for someone who's like, I've been there. I relate to you on, like, a really, like, ground-based level. So I will never shit on someone for it, but I personally don't think allies should use it myself.
Fair enough. Anyone else?
I used to use it as an ally, but then I was like, I'm gonna stop because there's just too much talk about it, and it doesn't matter that much to me. I'm always a safe space for anybody who wants to express themselves in my stream, but I don't feel like I need a tag to express that part of it, I guess. So I just stopped using it. I was like, I don't want to be caught up in anyone's controversy. I don't want anyone to get any, like, I don't know. But it doesn't bother me when anyone uses it.
That's fair.
I don't think anyone should be scolded for, like, using it if they're doing it for support. Like, I've seen people absolutely, like, taken apart on social media because they weren't, like, trans or gay or whatever, but they were using the tag to try and support, you know, the people. And it's like, why are you getting angry at someone trying to, like, support you? You know what I mean? Like, I don't use a tag because, like Caitlin said, like, my channel is just open to anybody and everybody, you know, naturally, and people know that. But, like, it baffles me that people actually get angry at people trying to show support by using the tag and letting people know, like, hey, you know, it's okay if this is who you are, you're welcome in my channel. Like, what? Get a life.
Wait. Okay, I might have misinterpreted that. Can you repeat the final thought there?
So, like, if I say I started to use the tag, right, to show my support,
okay,
right, if someone's going to call me out, like, on social media and like ridicule me for using it, saying, like, you're not one of us, like, why would you do that, like, you shouldn't be using that, that's ridiculous.
Okay, gotcha.
So,
alright, that makes a lot more sense than what I thought was going on, because I can't multitask. But thank you for elaborating. Anybody else like to comment on that? We still got Gothix and Gothix.
So I also was using the tag for a while. Somebody within the LGBT community told me, hey, allies can use this. I was like, great, fantastic idea. Let's do it. Sorry, hit my mic. So the thing that I don't like, and I see it a lot, is like other streamers being scolded for using the tag because they're an ally. And then it opens up this whole other debate of like, well, the A stands for ally, the A stands for asexual. It's like, I don't care about any of that. I care about the fact that Twitch said that this specifically is for allies. So if that is not like, if that's not accurate to the actual like LGBTQIA demographic, then you need to have that conversation with Twitch, not have that conversation with people supporting you by using the tag. So like that's like I don't know. I think it's like just a bunch of like I think it's you're putting the energy in the wrong place. Like you're coming at people that are trying to support you, and you're getting mad at them, and then it just gets messy. So I personally have just stopped using it. And yeah, that's all. That's my take.
Fair enough. Thanks for that. Magnus, you got anything?
I've never used the tag. I'm by definition an ally, but I've never seen it as a relevant point to bring up in my stream because like I said, or like you said before, I don't share those experiences. I can relate on a lot of things, both positive and negative in life experiences, but that's one I really can't relate to. So I have friends that can relate to it, but they're not here doing this. So I've never personally used the tag. If people get upset over it, well, people get upset over somebody scratching their nose half. I'm really not surprised. That said, ostracizing someone for using it, that does not seem to be any of the mentality that should be represented by said tag from my perspective. But then what do I know? I'm a straight white guy. Like, that's my stance on it. It's like, I don't have the position to really have a horse in this race. I can't tell you how to feel. That's not what I'm here to do. So, like, I'm just going to step back, not use it myself, and go ahead and acknowledge that people have very strong opinions. I got no horse in this race. I got nothing.
Is JT still here in the chat? 'Cause if he is, I would love to hear from him about this. Like, I know he was like gonna be on this panel. This is one thing
He
I would like
was
to hear.
he was drinking a White
his
Claw.
words
He
about
could
it.
be dead right now. All right, we don't know.
That's true. I would love to hear, because I was excited to have this conversation with also JT. As much as I'm glad that Gothix is on the panel, and I think she's delightful. I would have also liked to see another LGBT person to chime in on this.
That makes sense, but as JT's representative, as he will confirm, but don't ask him or tell him that I said that.
Oh, okay.
I will say, no, I don't speak for JT. Dude's a legend. He could speak for himself. But I will say for myself that I agree with Magnus primarily. Like, it's not my place to say. I won't say that I don't have a horse in this race, because I am really big on trying to get inclusivity to be a thing. And I don't think Magnus was, like, turning his nose up at that idea, but I want to be very careful with my phrasing here. Because, like, on the one hand, yes, I'm a straight, cis male. I can't tell the LGBTQIA and whatever other letters you'd like to add on to that what to do. Or
T+.
T+. There you go.
P.
P+. We're
LGBTQIAP+.
AP+. We got it. Kinda. I'll go over it later. It isn't my place to say, I get that, but at the same time, it's not anyone's place to say for anybody else. And that was a huge issue on Twitter. Like, I saw people who at least were claiming to be part of that community were saying, like, well, you don't speak for everybody in this community. And that's 100% true. That goes for any demographic, whether it's based on race or people who have a preference in certain types of carpets. Like, we're all individuals at the end of the day. So my biggest thing here is, like, we shouldn't, as allies, as human beings in general, we should not have to have an LGBTQIA plus tag. Everybody should know off the dick that they're welcome. Unfortunately, that's not the world we live in yet. I get that. That's fantasy land at the moment. But what I will say is I do get the idea that sometimes people want to make friends with others who go through similar struggles as they do. While all of our feelings are universal, the things we deal with on a day-to-day basis can vary quite a bit. And I think that the tag can be an important factor in people who may be facing adversity as members of the LGBTQIA plus community, finding others who deal with similar things and that they can relate to on that specific level. Even though we all have sadness, even though we all face sorts of discrimination to varying degrees, there is that nuance to appreciate between like individuals. So I feel that. I could get behind the idea of allies not using it, but I could also get behind the idea of them using it. Ultimately, up to the individual. I'll never be bitching at anybody for it. Not my place to do so, certainly.
Yeah, and again, with like, I'm also, like I said, I would never be upset with anybody for using it. Ally, part of the community, what the hell ever. But I like, when you said, I don't think we should even need this to be a tag. We should all just understand that everyone's welcome everywhere. And I agree with that. And that is kind of the sole reason why I don't necessarily think that allies should use it necessarily. Because again, while I would never be upset with an ally for using it, I understand your reasoning and I respect that. But I would be shocked to go into a community where I'm not welcome for being LGBT. If I were to say something about my sexuality and I were shunned, I would be shocked by that. I generally assume that I'm welcome in this place, especially on Twitch, where it's a lot of like gamers and a lot of us are shut-ins and introverts, and a lot of us have reasons why we have been excluded from other things, and that's kind of why we're on Twitch. So I would be hard-pressed to find a place where I am not welcome on Twitch for that. But I'm 26 years old. I just this year at 26 came out to my family as bisexual, like just this year. Or I guess it was in 2019, but the end of the year, I just came out. So especially right at that time when I was actually finally decided that I had the courage to tell my mom and my dad, who I consider to be incredibly judgmental about this part of me that I had been hiding from them. What I wanted was other members of the community that I could like relate to, and that would get what I was going through, and who would like feel what I was feeling, and that would make sense to. That's what I was looking for. I was looking for it on Twitch personally, but like I could see people looking for that on Twitch. Especially as someone who, like, I have a lot of people in my community who are there looking for a place that they can be themselves because they don't have another place where they feel like they can be themselves. And that's kind of my big argument against allies using it. But again, an ally using it, if I went in and was like, hey, are you LGBT? And someone was like, oh, I'm an ally, I would never be upset about that. I'd be like, all right, cool. And like, that would be that, you know what I mean? But like, that's kind of my big argument for why I feel that it should be LGBT exclusives, because I feel like everyone should be accepting it.
Fair enough. Thank you for
If
breaking
you're not
that
accepting,
down.
then that's a problem.
We could have a tag for like bigoted piece of shit. That could be a new
Right?
tag. We could just put up there.
Bigoted cunt. That's
There
a
you
tag
go.
now.
We good now. We solved it.
BC tag.
Okay. Thank you everybody
Oh,
for
that's so big.
indulging me on that. I don't know what's happening right now. All right, we're gonna move on to positivity streamers and subculture. We have to have Magnus go first on this. It has to happen. Take it away, Magnus. I won't say anything.
Okay, so I have no problem with people that put in time, effort, energy, research, and call themselves a positivity streamer. If you're going to go ahead and promote actual knowledge-based positivity mentality, that's fine. However, as someone who is very, very much involved, as someone who's heavily involved, has lost many friends to forced positivity, every time that I see positive vibes only, I wish I could reach through and punch you in the face through Twitter. If you deny the rest of the spectrum of human emotion, you are literally in the process of causing someone to have a mental breakdown. And that's something that you don't understand because you don't work in a field that forces you to understand the repercussions of these actions. Now, I'm not saying that I have any psychologist or psychiatrist knowledge. However, I work in a hospital and I often work with a very, very sensitive group of people. I work with cancer patients on the regular. I am trained to deal with breakdowns. I literally had to go through courses that are updated yearly. And I have a continuing education license where I have to keep taking these courses. And the fact that you want to just throw up a hashtag to go ahead and say, well, this is a place where everyone's going to feel great, you're full of shit, you're a hazard. And if you continue to push that mentality, I feel like you are literally doing ever could have done good. I'm going to go ahead and throw out something here that many people do not know. Okay. The first serious relationship I was ever in did not end because we parted ways. That person is not amongst us anymore. It's because her family forced her to be public. Literally ended her life. And if you think that I don't get steamed every time I end up in a channel where someone's like, we only accept positive vibes here, you are horribly mistaken. Like, a lot of my viewers or the people that have known me for a long time will know this one very simply. The tone of my voice right now is as much as you get from me being furious. There's that very, very, hey, what's going on? And then there's this. And what this is me going ahead and acknowledging that you are causing literal harm to others because you don't understand what you're doing. Like, there are people that genuinely are like, I'm a positive space streamer, only positive vibes here, and I'm also a mental health advocate. No, you're not. If you were a mental health advocate, you'd be going ahead and pointing them in the direction to go ahead and figure out why they're feeling that way. And that is a major problem that I've been seeing recently, more so than before, because there are people who have gone and done some fantastic work. They're backed by mental health corporations, and I'm all for that. But then there's the ones that are like, well, they're getting a lot of views, I want them too. I'll tell people to feel better. And it drives me insane. Like, it's one of those things where I come here to stream to de-stress after work. You bring me your bullshit, we will go ahead and I will do that comedian thing. Because I'm a comedian for a reason. I got to there because it was how I dealt with my bullshit. I went through my sorrow and my suffering, and I made jokes about it because that's how I learned how to deal. So I want those people that feel comfortable with that to find me and have that. On the flip side of the coin, when you deny the feelings of sadness and sorrow and frustration, because they're not mutually exclusive, people can go ahead and be positive about their negativity. Like, one of my favorite statements is, there was a friend of mine who's very much a nihilist, but they are the most positive nihilist you'll ever hear, because they'll turn around and say, man, I never expect anything from anyone. And you know what that means? I'm either right, positively surprised. Holy crap, that's like your entire vibes argument destroyed. Because they're not positive vibes. They're literally negative vibes. But on the flip side of that coin, they're still willing to go ahead and have a positive discussion about mental health. So that's my big issue. I have no problem ahead and tries to be a friend. I have one more point before I'm done with this rant. Tries to be a friend and be positive towards people. But the second you're doing only that in your community, like, I don't feel like that's the right way to approach it. And I'm going to throw this one out there. Having gone through therapy doesn't make you a therapist. And that's one that's been bothering me a lot lately too. Because there are people that I know that have therapy sections in their Discord, and like, they've been through therapy, so they think that all their information that they've gathered has basically made them officially in a capacity to tell you what's good for you. No, they know what works for them. Sometimes those things will apply to others. But the reason that people have to go ahead and go through all of these courses, continue education, keep up on new techniques, is because they are trained to deal with the fact that sometimes what you just said doesn't work. And when that doesn't work, it's going to do one of two things. It's going to cause them to go ahead and shove it back into themselves, or they're going to spiral out of control. And I've lost too many friends to that spiral to go ahead and just kind of sit there and be like, well, I guess they said they were positive.
Oh, God.
Yeah. So there's me on that.
Magnus, I appreciate that. I would obviously like all of you to comment. I do want to maybe shy away from streamers as therapists for the time being, because
Totally fine.
we do have a lot of this shit to still get through. We may be able to touch on it a bit later. Positivity streamers and that sort of subculture. Would anyone else like to comment on that?
Yes, I was just gonna like kind of piggyback a little bit off of what Magnus said about like yes, there is all those like positive vibes only streamers, and like I do advise anyone who is looking for like a positive space to honestly shy away from anyone who says positive vibes only, fucking peace sign hippie shit, because like the actual places that are mental health advocates and that are genuinely wanting positivity for you and wanting the best for you are the people that are going to get gritty with you and the people who are going to allow you to be yourself. But like also in the same vein, if you are a positivity streamer or if you are a mental health streamer, as I am myself, we are not obligated to necessarily dive deep into all of your things. I always say, like, if we talk about it, it's not about advice, it's not about having answers, it's about just solidarity and standing together. But sometimes I don't have the spoons for it, you know what I mean? So sometimes, like, I have a part of my stream that is about, like, specifically, and like, this is the mental health checkpoint. We talk, we do our thing. I don't do it every stream. I want to do it every stream. I don't do it every stream. Sometimes I don't have the spoons, and I'm like, I feel like shit today, and I want to shy away. I don't want to talk about it. If you want to talk about your mental health stuff, you can, but it's very likely that all I will say, if I don't have the spoons, is, I'm sorry you're going through that. I love you, and I'm like, I stand here with you. I don't have anything else to say. I'm sad about it. Because sometimes a true like positivity or mental health streamer sometimes is sad. I had a dear friend who didn't go to TwitchCon specifically because he didn't feel like he belonged, because he felt like out of sorts because of like he wasn't feeling right. And he's known as a mental health advocate, positivity streamer, whatever. But like he didn't go to TwitchCon because he felt like shit. So I organized a whole big thing and had like a bunch of people come to one specific booth so that we could all tell him that we loved him, that we were there for him. Gothix was there, in fact.
Nice.
And like that's the thing, like the two big misconceptions as being a mental health advocate or a positivity streamer is that one, you have to always be in a great mood, you have to always feel good. Nah, those of us that are mental health advocates because we ourselves suffer from our own mental health struggles, and so sometimes we feel like shit. And then like the second one is that we always have to be receptive of whatever the hell you want to throw at us, where you rant and vent and tell us all your things. I also, like I said, have my own mental health shit. Sometimes I can't listen to it, or like I'll listen. You can type it. Sometimes I don't have shit to say about it because I am depressed. I am going through an episode myself. I'm going through something and I don't have anything to say.
Wait, but don't you tell your brain positive vibes only?
No, you're right though. But like what I provide as a mental health advocate is a space for you to talk about it and feel like you're allowed and no one's gonna judge you, because if they do, I'll ban their asses. I am not promising you answers. I am not promising you that I will have anything to say necessarily. I am giving you a spot where you can scream at a wall, and that's all I can promise, is that you can say it and no one's gonna judge you here.
That is huge in itself. Sierra, thank you for that. Let's see.
Like,
Sir, oh, Blue.
No, I was gonna say, like, when you're going through any kind of like a heavy situation, mentally, physically, or whatever, you mostly already know like my background and my story. The last thing that you want is someone trying to force positivity down your throat.
True.
Can't count how many times they would have like a candy striper or someone come in and be like, you know, you gotta smile. Like, no, I just want to feel miserable. Be miserable with me. That's all I want. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and like that's why I tell people, like, if you come into my channel, you need to talk to someone or you need to vent, do it. Because like so many times people tell me like, well, I don't want to bring the mood down, or I don't want to like bring everybody down with my problems, and I'm like, you're not going to. It's like, yeah, we're like, I joke a lot, I make, you know, it's all upbeat and everything, but if we need to get serious, if you need to like talk or vent, whatever, that's fine. It's okay to be miserable. It's okay to like feel bad. It's okay to like express your emotions. That whole fake positivity thing is not helpful. Like you guys said, it's absolutely detrimental, and it makes people even worse off. Like, it's the last option you want to go with.
That's what's up, Blue. Thank you for that. Gothix or Sir?
So I totally agree. Like, I think I saw Nox in the chat mention that people that preach constant positivity are probably going to have a hard time once shit actually goes down, because they haven't been effectively like dealing with their emotions head on. And I totally agree with that. And I actually took a little bit of a different approach. So most of you know I came back from a hiatus, have a new rebrand, and I'm using my platform in a way to like express how I've been feeling internally. So hopefully that in turn gives other people more confidence to open up about how they're feeling, what's going on in their head, like have a nice discussion about it, instead of it anybody thinking that, oh, well, I'm gonna bring the mood down or whatever. So I'm trying to like use mental health and positivity in a way that's like fun for everyone. It's not such a drag. So I'm trying something different, because I do see a lot of streamers pop up all of a sudden kind of, I am the positivity streamer. It's just like, so you're basically you're a good human being, because I think everybody should just be a nice person.
Respect.
But I do notice that like there are lots of like channels popping up just trying to capitalize on the fact that everybody is sad, or everybody is suffering in some way, which kind of is terrible. Yeah. That's it.
That's what's up. Thank you for that,
Yeah.
SirKatelyn.
I mean, everyone kind of said everything that I was gonna say. It's just one of those, like, I think that toxic positivity is a thing, and there can be too much of it, and so it's just like I think Magnus hit the point right on the head, and I just think that it's all kind of, so if you have to preach so much that you're positive, you're probably going through some stuff, which is like I'm never gonna fault somebody for that at all. But like, you know, I don't know. You're gonna have a tough time dealing with actual emotions when shit hits the fan, I guess.
Yeah. I agree with that. But I also saw in chat someone brought up, I forget the name, tell me who you were, please. They were saying how, like, these people wind up usually being manipulative assholes. What do you guys think? Do you think that's usually the case, or do you think they're just, like, ignorant and they don't really know any better than, like, good vibes, dude? Or are they, like...
It's a combination of both.
Fair enough. What about y'all? Do you find it's more often one side or the other of the
ignorance.
coin? More so ignorance?
A lot of ignorance.
Okay. Fair enough. Because intent matters, I think. Not that...
It's more ignorance than anything, but there's a little of both.
Oh, absolutely, there's both. And I really, really hope 90% of the time when I see it's ignorance. And then that other 10%, like I said, I just want to reach through Twitter and drag them. Like, not verbally. I want to physically just drag them over to go ahead and talk to people that
Drag
are actually...
their bodies.
That's fair.
Like, I wear a tie. I hope they're wearing one too. It's a lot easier to drag someone by the tie than the collar.
That's true. Unless you use your teeth. Don't tell anybody.
No.
But I will say, for myself anyway, I'm an optimist. I am an idealist, but I'm not a fucking positivist. Because, and I'll echo some of what Magnus and what everyone's been saying. We're human. Perpetual positivity isn't possible. It's not even desirable. It's not even conducive to growth. Why would you want that? I mean, personal growth. As humans, as much as it might suck, part of the human condition is thriving in the face of adversity or growing in the face of adversity. That entails a sort of negativity to it, I think. Unless people are like fucking smiling while they're fighting a pack of wolves on a volcano. I don't know. Some people are crazy. Alligator penis. Alright, we're moving on to networking, friendship, and competition. Okay, so I keep getting shit for this. I want to be very clear here. So for the competition aspect, it's not an intent. I see competition between our fellow streamers, our peers, our friends even, as a byproduct. We could be BigBlueD, one of my best friends on the planet, but a byproduct of us streaming, if he's streaming at the same time I am, a byproduct of that is people who frequent both of us, like, we're vying for their attention, even if indirectly. And even while that's going on, I could be like, hey, go check out BigBlueD. He's streaming right now and he's amazing. And I'm pretty sure that shit's happened before in a back and forth sort of fashion. Well, it does with Slurpin' okay, that sounds weird out of context. Slurpin' D is a thing we do every other Monday. Don't tell anybody. But anyway, my point here... Stop it, Magnus! You're making me feel bad. My point here is that I really feel like people are so automatically turned off by... You're not muted, Sierra.
I don't care.
Oh, fair enough.
That comment, I intentionally was not muted.
Look. Alright. What was I saying? Okay.
Slurping D, that's what you're talking about.
Now I can't get my mind off slurping that D. I think... Alright, what I was getting at was... I think everything seems to be a bit too black and white when it comes to the notion of competition. And people seem to get really defensive about it, and it just sort of baffles me. So what do you guys think? Is the notion of competition, even between friends and peers and muses of yours, is it completely invalid, or is there something to it? Even if just as a byproduct of sharing a platform. Magnus?
Right. So, I've been very open about the fact that I literally have roommates who stream. Like, one of them was in here saying that if I did a cartwheel on the wall, he wasn't fixing it. Like, I've had multiple roommates and friends who streamed. Before I was actually on the platform, people were following my channel because of my appearances in person on their streams. Like, I would come over for their 24 hours. When I originally started, part of the reason I streamed from, like, the middle of the day to when I went ahead and ended was because I would end before they started so that we weren't competing for viewers. Nowadays, I'm like, fuck them. They can go ahead and pop. They can stay here. I'm going to give you that option. that nature of competition, as long as everyone doesn't get super intense about it, is actually healthy because it pushes you to try to do better. It makes you want to go ahead and be like, yeah, that person's live, but I'm doing really cool shit. So are you going to want to leave to go see them, or you want to stick with the cool shit? Like, it brings out that creative aspect, at least for me. But if it gets to the point where, like, they don't want to see you if you're an IRL friend anymore because, damn, you've got more viewers than them, I think it's their problem, but you still might want to.
That's fair. I could jive with that. Anybody else?
I was just gonna say that, like, I just don't really think it's. I mean, like, if I were to be streaming at the same time as you were streaming and as Kat was streaming or whatever, and I noticed that my numbers were less, I would assume that that's because they were watching either you or Cap. But like, that wouldn't hurt me. You know what I mean? I wouldn't be like, damn it, Mike, they're with my competition. I'd be like, yeah, okay.
But there's that
My
ugly
community's all
designation though.
together, and they're out there hanging out. Like, maybe people are at work, but also maybe people are, you know, seeing my friends, and like, that's cool because like, I want to see Slurp succeed. I want to see Cap succeed. I want to see my friends excel at what they do. So if I notice that, like, maybe I've got, you know, a little bit slightly less viewers than I normally would at that time, but you are in the middle of a 24-hour stream, I'd be like, yeah, well, they're still watching Slurp, so I'm doing a charity thing. That's rad. Go chill with Slurp. Like, I get it. Respect. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It wouldn't bother me. I saw especially around when New Year's, Twitch was promoting Ninja, and people were like, Ninja's gonna be a thing that was an ad on my stream, and I was like, if Ninja is your competition, you need to do something else. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't necessarily consider anyone to be my competition on Twitch. I am doing my own thing. My success is my own, and my failures are my own.
So
I don't necessarily think that it's anyone else's competition.
But does that devoid the notion of competition just because your success hinges on you?
Kinda, yeah, in my opinion. I'm like, you know, fuck it. Like, I don't consider anyone my competition.
Okay. SirKatelyn, you have your hand up?
I think that inherently, because we're on the same platform, everyone is technically competition, but it's about how you deal with that competition.
Yes.
And how you choose to react to your friends, like, possibly doing better than you. I actually asked permission so I can use this person's name. My friend Danny Dose and I had like a little bit of like almost like a falling out, but she told me, she was like, hey, I'm really not, you know, she said that she was jealous of me. And I was like, well, that's huge of you for admitting that. So it's about taking those huge steps and saying, hey, you are my competition, but how am I going to deal with this? It's being a bigger person and saying, like, you are in your own rank or you're in your own section by doing what you're doing. How do I deal with that in a not like inappropriate way? You know, I think that we all have to kind of be adults and put our big pants on, but realize that everyone who's streaming at the same time or on the same platform as us is technically competition in some way, shape, or form. I don't know what all my viewers like. So if you want to go watch, you know, some competitive streamer, that's competition for me because they are like detracting from viewership. But I'm not going to go and like yell at every person playing Fortnite for it. that's just unreal. So I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing, and whoever wants to come in or not come in is totally up to them. But I'm not going to be that asshole who tears people down for it.
Mm-hmm.
Like
I hear that.
You mentioned earlier, Slurp. We do have almost like I don't look at you as competition because I want you to like succeed. I would like give you every view I have.
Can I say something real quick? That can be simultaneously true. We can be competition and still wish one another to succeed.
True. Yeah.
That's my
right.
main point here.
But what I saw was like, you know, there were times where maybe you had like a good chunk of our shared viewers and maybe I didn't, or vice versa. And so like, because there was that inadvertent competition, right? And because you're my friend, like, I actually changed my schedule up. This way, like, we wouldn't be dividing up our viewers, like, as much. And because, like it or, like, I didn't like the competition myself. You know what I mean? Like, I don't like the feeling of having to, like, take viewers from you or you take them from me, whatever. But it's there. So that was my solution. You know what I mean? I was like, all right, so rather than us going head to head almost every single stream, you know, I'm gonna change my schedule up so that maybe it happens once, if that, and the rest of the time it's like, okay, he's not on, Blue's on. Blue's not on, Slurp's on.
I hear that. I've done it myself.
Yeah.
And that's a whole other topic. Rule of thumb, though, I will say, of course, everyone's situation is different because of the nature of Twitch, where we all grow and make more friends and network with more streamers. I don't think it's a good policy to maintain, like, moving schedules around for other people, because at a point, we're going to wind up trying to accommodate a fuck ton of people, and it'll be impossible.
Oh, I don't care about anyone else.
Fair enough.
He only cares about you. So
as long as I can see you after stream,
you alone.
I appreciate that, Sierra.
He's my whoa.
We balls for lives. Blue, thank you for sharing that, and that, again, reiterating the point, we can be competition, goes for everybody here and everybody on Twitch, and still wish success for each other, and still drive each other towards success actively. Because that's one of the beautiful things about Twitch. And another thing I love about it, one of the things I love most, actually, as with most things in life, I find, but especially with Twitch, the more we help other people, the more we get out of it. It's amazing. What a concept. Helping others helps yourself. It's true for fucking everything, in my experience. Gothix, would you like to share?
Yeah, I mean, I think healthy competition is really good, especially like if you're trying to do the streaming thing in the long term, because it gets you thinking about, like, what are the other possibilities with my content. You know, most people that I see stream won't ever think to experiment with what content they're doing or their branding. They're just kind of content with just bang out the same thing all day, every day. And so with a little bit of competition, it kind of lights a fire under your ass, and it gets you thinking about, like, the bigger picture. And so, like, throughout my streaming career, I've always had, like, a specific group of streamers where I'll be like, okay, these are the people who I want to compete with. They don't know that I'm competing with them, but, like, in my head, I'm competing with them. And, like, it always changes. Like, okay, now I want to compete with this person, just to kind of, like, push the bar a little bit. But with that said, I do think that, you know, it's interesting that SirKatelyn brought that up, and that's really commendable that Danny Dose was like, you know, I'm feeling a little bit jealous. I actually lost a friend because of that situation where they were already established on Twitch. And when I say established, like, they were an affiliate for like a good year. And then I joined and I got an affiliate like in a week. And that was like the start of just like pure jealousy. And it was vile. I was like, that's like, I want everybody who I know as like personally as streamers to be successful, and I want to push them towards like achieving their goals, but like I can't ever see myself getting to the point where I'm just like flat out jealous of somebody else's success. That's pretty messed up. But yeah, to summarize, yeah, I think it's competition's good. It's healthy. Do it. Ship it.
That's what's up. I like that. Okay, guys, we do have to crunch some stuff in. Does anyone have any like quick final thoughts on the notion of competition and streaming?
I got one. Slurp, how can I help you be better at Resident Evil 2 and stop just taking fucking forever?
It's impossible.
Magnus, you need to understand that I get off
That's
on your
terrible.
sass, and it's never gonna stop as long as you keep sassing me, because I love it.
I beat the entire game in the time it took you to unpause.
He's
So true.
he's right though. I can't even argue against that. We shut up, everybody! Just shut up, all right? we're gonna move on.
Beat Life is Strange.
Okay, I gave these guys, what was it, a 10:05, 10:10 max runtime. So let's have a quick chat break. We're making pretty good time here. Guys, please hit us with any questions or comments you may have pertaining to this. Panelists, feel free to scroll through, and I'll do the same. First, I would like to read this comment from Manaracel. Am I pronouncing that right? What did I say? Monaricelli?
No, Mana Reciel.
Wait, CL?
Mana Reciel.
No, I heard that, but I'm saying, never mind.
You're saying it wrong.
No, I'm saying it's Mana Reciel. I can say it, but I have it written down here as CELLE, and I didn't think that made a CE sound. I thought it made a SE sound. Manaricelli, that's the thing. I'm not.
I feel bad as his former preschool.
I'm sorry. I'm trying.
Damn.
Sierra, you failed me as my preschool teacher, and I'm suing Twitch.
He
All
doesn't
right.
know how to
Well,
do words.
they said, first off, words are hard. They said, I think it falls onto Twitch. This is pertaining to the LGBTQIA plus tag. I think it falls onto Twitch because they mislabeled the tag. We really use the tag to find other LGBT members, streamers, to promote or connect with, not so much as to find a safe space. I personally don't think safe spaces are a real thing, but we really just like to use it to find other people that we can connect and unite within our community. But I'm jaded over all of it. Do what you want. That's the mindset I'm of. But again, not my place. I'll agree with you though. We kind of covered that already, but if anyone wants to throw in anything, feel free. But I do think we went over it.
I do think that there are such things as safe spaces, but that's the only thing I disagree with what he said.
Fair enough. Yeah, that's a whole other Soulspeak, my friend. But that is definitely worth addressing at some point. I'd like to know everyone's No, shut up, Goober Queen. I said Patreon. All right, I used to call it Patreon and not
What?
Patreon, and I'm sorry it happened. We need to move forward. Stop. I don't know what SirKatelyn's laughing at, but it's making me very nervous.
Thank you for having
I
me.
thought you were talking about Patron
Yeah.
for a minute. I was like, what are you calling it Patreon?
Woo!
Soulspeak has been so great.
Okay. What Spiak?
Yeah. Soulspeak.
Oh,
Let's get this-
Soulspeak. Okay, god damn it. God damn it. Okay. Max says, oh, I'm jealous Gothix is one of the sweetest people on a platform. Why can't there be more people like her? I don't know if you noticed this, but I've emulated my entire shtick off of Gothix. Don't tell her I said that, though. Alright, she didn't hear me. It's good. I'm just kidding. That didn't happen. But I agree with you. Gothix has been extremely influential as a T-Sam baby. When I first got there, she was like the person I saw most, and I learned a lot of cool stuff from her. She's always kicking ass.
Am I?
I guess she's alright. We'll go with her.
No, she good.
She good.
Like I said, I kind of started streaming and I watched a lot of her videos and I learned a lot from her, and so I mean, girl, I love you. That's it.
That's what's up.
Aww,
That's
you're
what's
so
up.
cute. Feelings.
Alright, I'm not catching anything in chat right now. Does anyone see something I don't? I'm trying to go relatively quick through it, so I might miss something.
All I have is jokes for that entire statement.
Which the
You looking through chat quickly.
Oh god, shut. All right,
Just tossing ammunition to a comedian.
this is fair. This is fair. All right, guys, I think we're good on that. Does anyone here on the panel have any topics they feel maybe we didn't get to enough of? Anything you want to comment on that we brought up or didn't bring up that you feel is relevant to the subject?
Cancel culture.
That's heavy. That's a heavy one. But
I see Gothix's face.
Look,
Mhm.
Let me call out of work real quick.
Cancel culture and clout chasing and all of the things that involve it.
we actually did well, that was pertaining more so to like politics. We could definitely do that, but not in 8 minutes, 7 minutes.
That's maybe the
That's-
next Soulspeak. Like,
Can anyone wrap up their thoughts on cancel culture as a sort of teaser in like 10 words or less?
I think all words should go to Gothix if she chooses.
100%.
You want to take this, girl?
I mean, what can I say about this topic? It's just I don't know. It's just it's a trend. It's a trend on streamer culture. Just like, let's call out each other because like we've literally lost the art of conversation. Like, it is just gone. Like, we're not entitled to have differing opinions. We're not entitled to vote for whoever we want to vote for. Everything is just like, I need to be outraged because that's what I do. And now with streaming, it's like, I need to be upset at you and I need to make sure all of my friends are also upset at you. So that's why I posted online. Like, we forgot how to just communicate, especially in private.
Yep.
So I suffered from a cancel culture mob, and it's funny because cancel culture enthusiasts, what I like to call them, claim that cancel culture doesn't exist. It is like the dumbest shit I ever heard in my life. So I got nothing else to say about this, but if you engage in this, fuck you. That's all I gotta say.
That's fair.
Next.
I'm of a very similar mind there. Yeah, that's a huge reason why we do Soulspeak to begin with. That's especially more apparent when we get into stuff like abortion and the death penalty and things that are very more contentious possibly than streamer Twitter. Though streamer Twitter, the culture gets pretty fucking heated, as y'all can see. But yeah, you're absolutely right. We have lost the art of conversation by and large in society, and when we don't have our words anymore, all we're left with is physical shit. That's what leads to harm, a lack of communication, whether you're harming yourself or you're harming another through active force or through neglect. Both of those things are actions, even neglect. Blue, you were raising your hand?
Yeah, I was gonna actually ask the viewers a question, if that's okay with you.
Oh, yeah, go for it.
I was wondering if any of the people watching have ever gone to a channel, whether through a raid or, just voluntarily, whatever, that has, like, maybe their partner level, they have, like, a lot of viewers in chat and whatnot. Do you feel intimidated or uncomfortable interacting with bigger streamers? And if so, why?
I never understood this intimidation thing. That seems to be trending on Twitter too today. Well, we have it double. We have the shit on Twitter where it's like, I'm a partner and I went into this stream and everyone was mean to me because I had a check mark. I don't even want to get into that because I'm pretty sure we all agree it's bullshit. I think. Maybe I'm wrong there. But then the idea of intimidation I saw a lot on social media recently too. Like, are y'all just intimidated to make friends? And I'm not trying to jab at people with anxiety and stuff. I know, like, it's rough. If I'm out in public, like, yeah, it might feel weird, like, just approaching someone and being like, hey, you want to be friends? But at the same time, like, we need to realize that we're all human beings. Nothing makes someone better than another person. Only our deeds can really be better than another's, but that doesn't define our character. Just because someone has a check mark next to their name doesn't mean they're absolved from all wrongdoing or insecurities. That goes for celebrities, it goes for people with a higher degree of education. We have to remember, at least I'll remember, I'll keep it on the eye here, I'm not better and I'm not worse than anybody else. So viewers, you're supposed to answer that though. I did see a hand raise here. Who was that? Was that Caitlin?
I will crawl into anybody's DMs. I don't care what you are. I don't care if you're a celebrity. I don't care if you're a partner or not. I really don't give a shit. If I feel like I want to talk to you or I want to ask you a question, I will get into your DMs. Or I'll just ask it, because the worst thing that someone can ever tell you is no. Like that is the worst thing that someone can ever say is no. And then you're like, okay, cool, I'll never ask that again. Great. But it's one of those things that you kind of have to get over, that initial fear that you have of approaching somebody. Just ask.
Yeah, and that's, I'm sure Blue would love to dig into the culture of the participation trophy, making people unable to accept the answer of no or a rejection. But that's another Soulspeak. Blue,
Oh my god, you're really gonna bait me like that?
I have to bait. Look, we don't have enough time, and look, I'm not trying to call him out because I'm kind of the same mindset of that. But yeah, there's a lot of nuance to that and a lot to discuss there. But guys, we are close to end time here. Did you see any answers, or did anybody on the panel see answers to Blue's question in chat which stuck out to you?
I saw someone say because they feel like what they type gets lost in chat really quick, which I actually do agree with. There have been times where like I'm afraid to actually type something because I'm afraid, like, if it's not replied to in any length of time, like, is it because they're ignoring me? Is it because they just down too quick? You know.
That's my biggest thing. Is like if I get ignored in chat, I don't know if it's because it was like because they got lost because chat was moving too fast, or if they saw what I said and intentionally were like, I don't want to address that. I'm gonna graze over it and move on to the next thing. So then, like, I mean, there's been times that Cap and I have been in Discord calls and in a chat, and like I'll say something, I won't get responded to, and Cap will be like, just say it again, they missed it. And I'm like, did they though? Like, what if they intentionally ignored me? And I don't want to put them on the spot and make them like respond to it again now if I like upset them when I said it, or if they were intentionally not replying to what I said.
I say fuck that. I say presume positivity and push forward. I'll keep shit in a copy queue and I'll paste it again. I give people like 3 strikes. I'll say shit. If they don't respond, I'll say something else, in case maybe something I said was off-putting. And if they don't respond to anything I say, then I'm pretty much out. But I see where you guys are coming from. I do want to start with the closings now. Thank you all for your insights there. So what we're going to do, we're going to go, I guess we could go in the reverse order if you'd like.
So you're going to start with yourself?
No, I'll save myself for last to save time for y'all. So let's do just a more in-depth intro. Sierra, we'll start with you. Let us know what kind of content you do, what people can expect when they come to your stream, and then let's get your biggest takeaway from this discussion.
Hello, I am Sierra Grove. I talk about mental health and I stream RPGs. The conversation is the most important part of my content, so while I advertise that I'm going to play Legend of Zelda, I generally spend the first 2 to 4 hours of my stream in just chatting. I stream for like 8+ hours. Biggest takeaway, I don't know. We all generally seem to be kind of on the same page. So I would say my one like biggest takeaway was when we addressed the follow for follow stuff, and I now view people who maybe have a low view count but a high follow number a little differently after I've had my experience with with follow botting, and then now like after having the conversation. That's probably my biggest takeaway.
That's what's up. Magnus?
Just to go ahead and reiterate, I'm MagnusMKI, that guy with the chainmail tie, and I don't address it as much as it should. It's a glorious thing. Most of my content is horror or Gothic themed content, so you're going to get your Castlevanias and things of that nature, as well as your more modern horror walking simulator stuff. I really should put that in. So yeah, if you're expecting things along the darker side of gaming, you'll probably find it with me, be it an RPG or a first person strut around this building and look at all the food and then just jump scare. Biggest takeaway for me is probably the fact that a lot more people are willing to go ahead and admit how angry they are about certain things if you take away the onus of that being there's a lot of people that are very quiet about their frustration, and it seems, especially from this panel and the chat reactions, that there's a lot more people that are genuinely frustrated by things that they're just so done talking about it because it's been done over it. For example, cancel culture, cleavage, or sexuality, all of it's just been beaten so much that we're just tired of it. And I was thinking I was pretty alone in that statement at first, but no, it's most of us, it seems, be it in chat or on the...
Fair enough. I'll touch on that during my closing. SirKatelyn, you are up next.
My name is SirKatelyn. I stream literally whatever the fuck I want to stream. So it's usually some kind of horror game, honestly. I don't have like a really a type of game. Like today I was playing Stardew Valley and then I played Alien because I'm running it on nightmare mode. So I really do just play whatever I feel like playing. It could be something pleasant, could not be, but either way, I'm a little bit wacky. I'm a little bit weird. I will make you feel very welcome, and I will yell at you a fuck ton. Like I yell at my chat all the time, but they love it. It's great. My biggest takeaway was everything that Magnus said about the toxic positivity. I didn't realize how much of an issue it was, and I really appreciate that. I really liked being enlightened about that. So that was nice.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Big Blue, you are next, sir.
I'm BigBlueD. I do mostly single-player, story-driven games. Right now I'm on Bloodborne and Horizon Zero Dawn, trying to finish them before Doom and Resident Evil 3 come out. Mostly my channel is for, in a world where like pretty much everyone feels uncomfortable like being themselves, I just want people to be themselves on my channel. That's what it's all about. If you can be yourself, no matter how weird or bizarre you may think you are, I guarantee you I'm weirder.
Thank you, BigBlueD. I appreciate it. Gothix, you are up next.
Alright, well, hello. My name is Vanessa, as you know. It's getting towards the end of the night, so I tend to talk like a British person when I get tired. Don't at me, that's just what I do. So my channel primarily consists of me just talking, shooting the shit. Sometimes I play community-based games. And if you're looking for a very cyberpunk-ish theme with a sassy, talking, disobedient robot, check out my channel. Really enjoyed being here. Thank you for having me. As far as my favorite part of tonight's show, I would say talking a little bit about like the positivity and the toxic positivity and stuff like that. I enjoyed that discussion. So, yeah, thank you for having me.
My pleasure, Gothix. Thank you for coming. Thank you to all of you. Holy shit. Like I said before, everyone on this panel is astounding in their own right. I don't want to be tacky shout-out guy who undervalues shout-outs. But look, honestly, when you're around excellent people, a lot of the same descriptors can be applied to them. But you're going to get a different flavor and a different variety of each quality characteristic in them. So again, here is the panel. You check these people out. I think you got a pretty good idea of what they may be all about. If you're not following them already, you fucking do it. If you would all like to take your leave, you're more than welcome to do so. I have a few closing statements for the community, then we're going to choose a raid target. Thank you, everybody, so much. Have an awesome night. And that's technically the end of the show and where I'm going to cut off the YouTube version of it.